afternoon. Highs a lot cooler than the last several days, back towards the mid to lower 80s. Going to be seeing mostly sunny skies. A beautiful day to get outdoors by Saturday. Could see some chances of some showers and storms, some of which could have the potential to become severe as we head towards the evening hours. Temperatures back towards the mid 80s across much of the area. Showers push out throughout the second half of Sunday. Highs towards the mid to upper 70s. Will dry throughout the first half of next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Gotch.
Let's get moving, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Happy Flashback Friday, y'all. As always, I am really looking forward to seeing which songs you pick because I kind of love the premise this week. Guilty pleasure songs, the ones that you love, but maybe you don't admit that you love. I have a feeling that when those songs hit, a lot of people are going to go, oh, yeah, I like that one, too. I just won't admit it. But you know what? We can all do it together. Anyway, hey, good morning. Happy Friday to you. Mike Ferguson here. A lot going on. You know, in about 3 weeks, America's birthday, 250 years. Matter of fact, we're participating in a lot of the celebrations. Just go to NewsTalkSTL.com and get more information on that. And as a matter of fact, a little bit later on today, I'm looking forward to this discussion. We are going to be visiting with Judge Michael Warren. He's also an author. And his book is out now, Why the Declaration Matters. I mean, that's the subject of his book, especially as we get into all the politics and cancellations regarding celebrations and all that sort of thing. None of this should be overtly political or partisan. So I'm looking forward to kind of having that conversation to see if we can't ground ourselves back into what really matters when it comes to celebrating this milestone, regardless of which party or which candidates we support. All right. Anyway, that's coming your way here. The judge is going to be with us at 7:35. Right now, boy, we had a conversation with Colonel William Burner Dunn. He's been on the program before. He is a former military attack helicopter pilot, and he had some really good observations on what's happening in the Middle East, especially when it comes to that air combat, because now we're in another wave of attacks on Iran, which is in response to one of our helicopters being shot down, which obviously was patrolling after the entire war that's been going on. Well, we're in our fourth month now of this war. So interesting stuff here. And particularly, I thought his outlook on what he hopes to see in the future of this conflict. Well, that was fascinating. Here's what Colonel Dunn had to say. All right, we've got another wave of airstrikes happening in Iran.
We do.
And that started up again. And all this wave goes back to a U.S. combat helicopter being taken down by an Iranian drone. So, first of all, is there a significance of the attack helicopters? I believe this was an Apache. And what's their role? And then where do we go from here? I don't think anybody is going to understand that any better than Colonel William Dunn. He's been on the program before. Colonel Dunn, welcome back to the program. Joins us right now here. So the significance of an attack on a U.S. helicopter. Now, I don't know if this was like a surveillance drone that just hit or whether this was a munitions drone that was targeting to take down the helicopter. You probably have a lot better insight into that than I do. But what is the significance of hitting a helicopter in particular as opposed to trying to hit, obviously, you know, missiles or weapons or fighter jets or something like that? There's something different about the role of a helicopter?
Well, hey, first of all, thanks so much for having me. And the reality is, no, not really. The helicopter is trying to shoot down a helicopter or a jet or hitting a ship is still an attack on U.S. forces. And that's how it should be looked at. It's taking out a helicopter in this scenario is not and should not be seen by Iran as a strategic victory. It's a tactical win because they sent out one of their drones and they took down a helicopter. And, you know, there's some dispute on whether they shot it, whether they didn't shoot it. It looks like the reports is they fired something at or hit the helicopter on purpose with the drone. It doesn't matter. They brought it down, and they have paid for that, and they're paying for it dearly over the last 2 nights. The significance is what I would like the Iranians to see is that we value life and our assets so much that when you take down one helicopter, even if the pilots are not harmed, so to speak, we're still coming for you. So you should knock it off. And that's the message I hope that eventually will resonate with them and whoever's doing these tactical events, if you will.
Colonel Dunn, one of the things that keeps coming up is the fact, we've had a ceasefire in effect since, early April. And yet since then, there have been these sort of recurring exchanges of fire. I'm trying to think of how to put it, between Iran and the U.S., almost always because Iran has initiated it and the U.S. has responded. Is this just one of those things? Is it a semantics thing? Is this still part of a ceasefire? How does that fall into this when you have this sort of tenuous ceasefire agreement, but you still have these continuing exchanges of fire?
Well, that's a great question. So technically, we're still under a ceasefire, technically. However, whenever there is an action by an adversary, we're going to take, whether it's precautionary or defensive action, or strike them so they can't strike us, all they're doing is giving us additional opportunities to engage them. And so what could be happening is you could have a faction that is technically in charge, and they're trying to make a deal with the U.S., and then you could have other factions inside the Iranian government, whether it's the IRGC or other elements of their leadership. And what they're doing is they're trying to spoil this ceasefire and spoil an agreement with the U.S. for their own reasons, right? We may not know, we may never know, but it seems that's a very likely scenario here because the government, whatever government is in Iran, seems to want to make a deal. And then each time we get close, there's something that takes place to prevent that. And that could be a proxy inside Iran that's trying not to get to peace.
We are visiting with Colonel William Dunn. By the way, his book, which we've mentioned before, but it's called Gunfighters Rule, and we'll make sure that we mention that here in just a little bit as well. Let me ask you about, because you've been there. You have piloted attack helicopters in the Middle East. You've done all sorts of missions there. What is it that the pilots are looking out for when you're looking for threat assessments? Drones were not really a thing when you were there. That's in just the last couple of years. I mean, you worried about missiles and shoulder mounted rockets and all that sort of stuff. What is the threat assessment that the crew and the pilots in particular are looking for in the Middle East right now with this additional threat of drones?
Well, you're looking for everything, right? If you're flying over the water, you're looking for any boats. A normal fishing boat could have enemy personnel on it and try to shoot you down. You're looking for any type of missile launch or missile warning indication because that can happen anywhere. And what you're looking for is to try to find any indication that what you're seeing on the ground, whether it's enemy or friendly, you're trying to identify what you're looking at. Many times when I was flying in Iraq, I would look down and see something that looked benign, and it would turn out it would be an enemy action, or it would even turn out that it was nothing. We got called in one time to do a strike on some IED emplacers, and it turned out to be a family fixing a water pump. And so the pilots are looking for everything, right? They're literally looking for everything, and they're going to assess and synthesize the data that they see and what their sensors are telling them to find out what they're actually seeing. And, it's a tough mission for these Apache pilots because, Marine Cobra pilots, we're used to flying over the water. That's what we do. We're used to fighting, in this environment. And the Apache Bubbas, they're awesome, but they're getting a class on Navy and Marine Corps flying right now. And they're doing great, but I'm sure it's a little new to some of them.
Now, we talked about the technology and the changes, just, kind of rapid fire changes just in recent years. But one of the interesting aspects of this particular incident was the fact that the rescue of the downed pilots was actually carried out by an unmanned surface vessel, I guess. I had not realized that. I just saw an article on that actually at Red State, which is where I edit, and was surprised by that.
That's great because I was as well, right? Normally what I would have expected to see is a, Navy or Marine Corps helicopter go out, drop a line down and a SAR swimmer and pull those survivors out that way. So this sea drone, as the president said, that's pretty cool. And so to think that we brought all these elements in and once again, rescued our pilots, that's pretty amazing. So I had never seen that before. I knew he had those drones. I knew what they could do. I knew their capabilities, but I hadn't seen them used. And so it's very awesome to see them executed in that manner.
We are visiting with Colonel William Dunn. The book is called Gunfighters Rule. So I guess the next question is, what should we, look, us here in America, knowing this has an impact on us somehow, what should we be looking for as far as the next development in this war and in the residual effects throughout the Middle East? Because, what's happening militarily has a direct effect on basically everything else right now.
Well, there's three scenarios that I see. Well, there's many more than three, but there's three major ones. Scenario one is we get back to the table, we get an agreement with whatever leadership is running Iran, and everything calms down, at least for a period of time. That's what the president is striving for. He's drawing the line in the sand, no nuclear weapons, no capability, no enriched uranium. And, allegedly, they've agreed to that. So when we get these major items resolved, then we could get to what I would call a peace, or at least a temporary peace. That's scenario one. Scenario two, we keep doing tit for tat. They attack, they hit something, and we hit 10 things. They hit something, we hit 20 things, and we can carry on like this. I don't want to say indefinitely, but for a long time. And then scenario three is we go back into full-scale Epic Fury 2.0, and we take out another 15,000 targets to include some infrastructure and some economic capability, which I hope we don't do that. I would like that to be our last, that what we call on the ground side, the final protective fires, when everything, when nothing's working and you're being overrun, you fire the FPF, final protective fires, and that's your last ditch effort to survive the night. And we're not at that point, I don't think. And so I don't think we should pull that trigger for full economic annihilation at this point. And I hope we never do. Because I think if we do that, we lose the high ground with the Iranian population, and that's a concern. Because then we have a whole different set of problems.
Yeah.
All right, Colonel William Dunn, the book is called Gunfighters Rule, and you can find it Amazon, pretty much everywhere you look. I really appreciate the insight, especially since you've been in that cockpit, in that actual type of aircraft, to give us a firsthand look at that from the Middle East. Thanks so much, Colonel. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much for having me, and God bless our men and women that are executing this mission over in the Middle East.
All right, Flashback Friday. The song started up here in just a little bit after the 6 o'clock hour hits, and I'm looking forward to what you had to request here, right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. Unfortunately, St. Louis City streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline.
Hello, Kirk Ilsinger, chairman of the Republican Party for the city of St. Louis, and we believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. I invite you to our meetings the first Thursday of every month. Learn more at stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
JC's Wayback Machine.
We are coming up on the 35th anniversary of the grand opening of what was then called the Riverport Amphitheater. The first headliner, Steve Winwood, will reminisce. And it was a year ago this week we lost a pioneering musical genius, Brian Wilson. We'll play you some rare tracks. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9 on News Talk STL.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time. Make this free call now and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
Police officers, they're 4 times more likely to suffer a fatal injury than any other job in America. What you may not know is that every day our police officers are left destitute after a critical injury, abandoned by the very system they serve.
I had the gunshot wound to the forehead. With the cut and pay, we had to sell our house.
I couldn't do anything that I used to be able to do. I wasn't the provider anymore.
So I took the first shot to my face, and then I took a second shot to the left side of my left breast.
Imagine being crippled in the line of duty, losing your ability to do your job or take care of your family, only to be denied medical benefits and have your pay cut when you need it most. This is why the Wounded Blue exists, to right this terrible wrong done to veteran police officers. To learn more about how you can make a difference in the lives of officers who've been critically injured in the line of duty, go to thewoundedblue.org today.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Hey, guess what?
What?
Our birthday's coming up.
Oh.
Yeah, obviously there's America's 250th birthday, but we have another birthday coming up. NewsTalkSTL's.
It's our 5-year, right?
That's right, our 5-year birthday. We don't look a day over 3.
Well, the incredible thing is that we've been around for 5% of the nation's history. How incredible is that?
Right, exactly. All right, I'm going to tell you the details because a little bit later on I'll do like, hey, here's the big announcement, but I'll give you a preview here in just a couple of minutes. 5:51 right now. Did you see this thing at Six Flags yesterday?
No.
Holy crap. It's like the stuff of nightmares.
Oh, well, it's Six Flags. We have to kind of assume.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the kids running amok and like causing much fun. It has nothing to do with that. That didn't happen. So there's this, I've never been on it, but there's this ride called the Sky Screamer. And so it left people stuck in the sky, and I bet they were screaming. This family of 4 went up on, I guess, this thing that goes up and spins you around or whatever it does. And it malfunctioned and locked up and got stuck 120 feet in the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's parents and 2 teenagers stuck up there for almost 3 hours.
That actually happened to my mom and my my dad when they were on a date when they were younger. There's one that goes all the way upwards, and you feel like you're almost upside down on one half, and it swoops back down the other way.
Oh, wow.
And on the way that they were like facing downwards, they got stuck at the very top there, and it took emergency rescue to figure out how to get them all out of there.
Well, Six Flags apparently has cranes and things in case this happened, but it couldn't either get that high or it couldn't get the right angle, and so they had to call in like fire departments, and so it was quite a spectacle happening at Six Flags yesterday. The one here, the St. Louis Six Flags.
Terrifying.
I would think so. I mean, 120 feet when you're just in whatever harness seat, whatever it is on the Sky Screamer, that would like scare the crap out of you, I would think.
Well, and if you're stuck like that for 3 hours, I mean, I would almost imagine at some point you're just going to get bored. You're like, all right, this is just kind of where I'm at right now. But yeah. I guess they got their money's worth out of it. If they wanted a thrill and they got one.
Oh my! The good news is nobody was hurt. I mean, that's the good news.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness! I mean, that's those are the things that you would expect, like the carny that runs through town. You know, that sort of, you'd expect something to go wrong with those rides. You don't expect it at one of these massive, nationally known amusement parks like Six Flags is. So something really, really went bad on that ride.
Well, I mean, the maintenance people probably have been so preoccupied trying to fend off these rogue teenagers that they just forgot to check on the rides.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's, I mean, I'm sure it'll be shut down for quite a while. I mean, I would hope, because that's a big deal out there. I mean, that's literally like the main attraction or the rides and stuff that you're selling there. But yeah, it was 2 hours and 50 minutes before they got everybody down off of there after it locked up.
And when families like that, you know that there was at least one person that was like, I told you guys I didn't want to go on this ride.
You know that happened.
I knew
yes.
this was going to happen.
You know.
Why did I let you talk me into this?
Yes, you absolutely 100% know that happened. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a real bad experience on any amusement park ride. I mean, I haven't been to an amusement park, and I don't know how long I've been to an amusement park, but I've never had a bad experience on them. You just see the videos on Reels or YouTube or whatever, and you're like, oh man, that's crazy. But you don't think of it actually happening in like a real life in your backyard, and there it happened yesterday.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about incidents like that. You know that it's always a possibility. You see the videos out there, and then you just, for some reason, never expect it could happen to you, though. How dare it happen to me? Actually.
I know, exactly. Oh, my goodness. All right, but like I said, the important thing is nobody got hurt. All right, News Talk STL, we defied the odds. People did not think that a new terrestrial radio station that focused on a local community was going to succeed. And we are going to have our 5th birthday party this month. Okay, so you can get more details at newstalkstl.com. But here's what's going on. Mark the date, Friday, June 26th. Okay? So 2 weeks from today, what we're doing. So we're going to do this out at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville, obviously St. Charles County. It's an outdoor party, and so we're going to have live music. Retro nerds, man, they're fun. They were at our first birthday party, which we had at the old Diamond Music Hall, which doesn't exist anymore. They're going to be there. Jason Nelson's going to be performing. So we're talking, retro nerds, fantastic. 80s tribute bands. They're so much fun. They've got a great show with stages and screens and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be under the pavilion up there by the stage. Come on, say hi. A lot of us from the station here are going to be there. So outdoors, going to be food trucks, going to be music. We're just gonna hang out and have a good time. That's going to be 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock Friday night, June 26th. Once again, Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville. FrankieMartinsGarden.com is their website. Then obviously NewsTalkSTL.com. I'm going to be there. I'm sure many of the other on-air folks are going to be there. The station ownership's going to be there. It's going to be a good time. Just come on out and say hi. Laid back, just kind of get together, have out, grab some food, grab some drinks, and we'll just hang out and have a really good time. I'm looking forward to it. 5 years, and all we can say is thank you for that.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Very active, very fun chat box. Cinderfer. Hi, Cinderfer.
Hey, how you doing?
She says, yo, Vic, baby. Verbatim, yo, Vic, baby. With an exclamation point. How else are you supposed to read that? I was driving, had to pull over to comment. I was going to say how sexy the beard is. But I'm afraid of your wife.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I would be.
Vic Porcelli, live and local, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you're testing your blood sugar 4 or more times per day, injecting insulin 3 or more times per day, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetic Health Hotline today.
800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380. Paid for by U.S. Med.
Lower your car payment today. Lower your car payment today. Yes, you heard us right. You can lower your car payment right now by making this free call and save up to $1,400 a year on your current car payments. Think about your current car payment right now. What's that costing you per year? Now think about what it would be like to put an extra $1,400 back in your pocket. That's the average savings our customers experience. We can help you drive the same car and pay less every month by lowering your car payment's interest rate to as low as 4.67%. At Rate Genius, we can work with you to refinance any car payment. If you qualify, it costs you nothing to find out how you can lower your car payment. To learn more, call this number right now.
800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. 800-493-5670. That's 800-493-5670.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump says it could be signed as soon as this weekend, a deal with Iran to end the war, fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and guarantee that Iran will never get a nuclear weapon.
We have a signing soon, and the documents are in pretty final shape, so we'll see. We'll see. Very good. Should be done. That should be done pretty quickly. They want it every bit as much as everybody else wants.
The president speaking at the White House after calling off plans to attack Iran again and possibly seize Karg Island.
President Trump is discussing why he believes Iran is now more willing to reach an agreement.
They've taken a pounding like very few people could take, and they want to make the deal a lot more than I do. We could have had it done the other way, I guess, but it would have taken longer. They got hit very hard recently, as you know, and I don't like to have to do things that way, but I felt it was necessary. It's a great deal for the United States and for the Middle East, and I think ultimately great for Iran because they'll be able to build up their country and their country.
Willie Nelson, the White House.
FISA is about to expire. The law allowing the U.S. to gather intelligence overseas runs out at midnight. House and Senate lawmakers failing to extend it. A lot of people without power this morning, hundreds of thousands of outages. Results of violent storms that pounded parts of the Midwest, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast. The Midwest really got slammed with multiple tornadoes, including several confirmed outside Chicago. More severe weather is possible today. This is a history-making day on Wall Street with Elon Musk's SpaceX making its debut on the NASDAQ. It is the largest initial public offering ever. The price for a share of SpaceX stock, $135. More than 555 million shares up for grabs. I'm watching Wall Street. Dow futures up 268 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives. And MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking afternoon highs a lot cooler than the last several days, back towards the mid to lower 80s. We're going to be seeing mostly sunny skies, a beautiful day to get outdoors by Saturday. Could see some chances of some showers and storms, some of which could have the potential to become severe as we head towards the evening hours. Temperatures back towards the mid-80s across much of the area. Showers push out throughout the second half of Sunday, highs towards the mid to upper 70s. Will dry throughout the first half of next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at SerenityWealthBiz.com. That's SerenityWealthBiz.com.
Hanson's Tree Service at hansonstree.com is your one-stop shop for expert insured tree care and more in the greater St. Louis region and at the Lake of the Ozarks. Visit hansonstree.com for 24/7 emergency tree care, grinding and land clearing, awesome organic mulch, green resource recycling, and more. Tim Jones here to tell you that whether you're dealing with old man winter at your home or business in the St. Louis region or preparing your lake home for spring, call Hanson's to help you out. No job too big or too small. Mention News Talk STL. Receive 10% off all tree care services. hansonstree.com, hansonstree.com.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty. The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion. Mike Ferguson.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Susie Moore.
Get out of here and stop playing victim.
Get up, St. Louis.
We have federal regulations that prohibit hunting duck, and yet it's legal to hunt humans.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, let's kind of do a quick hit on some of the big things we're going to be talking about here in a little bit. It's one of those, like, I don't know, weird days where there's like potentially a bunch of big news happening, which we'll get to in a second. But you know what? It's Friday too. I kind of want to have some fun and relax a little bit. Just saying.
Friday, Friday.
We were just talking about this a second ago. Did you see this thing at Six Flags?
No, I saw it on the show sheet, but I have not seen the article or the video
there's
yet.
this. And I'm not really sure. I've never seen it or ridden it personally, but it's something called this Sky Screamer ride at Six Flags.
Sky Screamer. Well, they rename things too, so I don't know. I'd have to see it to see if
it's not a roller coaster. I know that.
Okay.
It's like one of those things where you go up in the air and it, I guess, rocks you back and forth or spins you around or whatever the case is on it. But it malfunctioned yesterday at around 5:30 p.m.
Oh, I know which one it is. It's like a giant swing set. So like it lifts you up and then you're like going around like
I
see. Swing. Yes.
So is it like you're tethered at the end of something?
Yes.
Okay, so you're basically in a giant baby seat in this thing.
Yes.
Okay.
It's right behind you.
There it is. Yeah. It malfunctioned 120 feet in the air with 4 people on it. They were up there for almost 3 hours.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Now, I mean,
not my idea of fun.
The good news. See, usually it's like emergency crews called to Six Flags. I'm like, oh, the kids did take over again. They're violent. No. It was just the mechanical area. It was malfunction. Apparently, the kids were behaving themselves. But it happened around 5:30, and then it was like 8:20 before they actually touched down on the ground again.
Nope, they changed it. Sorry.
Yeah. So it can you imagine how scary? I mean, it's one thing like if you're in a ride and you're in this like cart or but if you're just kind of hanging there for 3 hours.
The only thing I will say is that those, at least they weren't like upside down or on like, because there's some like roller coasters and other rides where that has you suspended kind of in an awkward, you're basically sitting in a big giant swing.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there. God help you if you have to go to the bathroom.
I wondered that too. You know, did you go before it went up? Oh, it's just a 90-second ride. We'll be fine. No.
Yeah. No, not my idea of fun at all. I mean, thankfully they got them saved.
Yeah, nobody got hurt.
But yeah, that. Plus, you know, if, like your legs are kind of dangling there.
Well, and at some point, like it's like if you sit on the toilet too long, your legs are gonna go sleep.
Well, that's true. You can start. I mean, like you do need to have like that mobility, move the legs around.
Oh my goodness, what? I mean, that's like nightmare stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Scooter had a nice comment about that as well. They should rename it their new Hotel California ride because you can get on whenever you want, but
you can never leave.
Yes.
Well played, sir.
Yes.
Well played, sir.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
Yeah. Not. I definitely was somebody who loved going on most, not all, but most of the rides in my younger days. But I feel like I'm at that point now where there's probably quite a few that I'd be like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll hang out down here and watch you guys ride.
There's at some point you're like, you know, my back will really hurt after being jostled around that much. I'm just kind of getting to that stage of life. And the only ride that I did once and absolutely hated was the one where you like it just spins around and by centrifugal force keeps you up again.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Tom's Twister was what it was called at Six Flags when I was little.
I did that one time. I'm like, never again.
No, it made me feel like I was going to get sick. It was like,
same.
like my cheeks would like suck in, and I was like, ugh.
Have you seen the videos of the people that will like stand up on the walls during
Yeah.
those?
Yeah.
That's freaky.
No.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. No, I never did really care for that one. It wasn't it was gone by the time I was like in middle school, but I remember it very vividly, and the wall had that kind of weird I don't know. It was like weird, thick carpeting kind of feeling, and it was like I didn't.
I mean, I don't. I never minded. The basic roller coasters and stuff. That was fine. I was never like a huge roller coaster guy, but
loved
I'll
them.
go on them. I don't care.
I loved them. There's one. I never went on Mr. Freeze. I couldn't bring myself to go on that one, but my favorite one in recent years has been the one that's like it used to be called the Tony Hawk. I don't think it's still called that, but it's a roller coaster, but it's like a seat of 4. And it spins on the track as it goes.
Okay.
And it's, it's pretty smooth. It gets pretty fast. It has some dips and turns, but it's not crazy scary. I like that one a lot.
Other news here, and I think it's also telling the way that the reaction's been. The president basically says, okay, the war's over. We're signing a deal this weekend. The war's over. And almost the entire world's like, okay. I'm looking through all the coverage, and you would normally think the war is over, headlines everywhere, and it's like, here's the new update.
I think this is a we'll believe it when we see it sort of situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Unfortunately, there's been a lot of the messaging, and this is, war isn't neat, but the messaging has been very inconsistent and all over the place, and we're stopping, we're going, we're doing a lot of back and forth. And that's part of it is because he's conducting a negotiation in real time in public because it has to do with a, actually violent conflict. But yeah, I think people are going to be wanting to see, okay, what's actually signed as opposed to what's being put out like.
And it's Iran. How long will they stick to it?
That's the other thing. Like, where are the teeth? Because I'm seeing some descriptions of it that I'm like, well, that it doesn't sound like a good deal at all. And I'm like, well, I'm going to wait to see what it actually is, because a lot of times what ends up happening is then you get someone else's description of it, and that's not accurate either. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to be excited about it until, like, hey, we're in the show me state.
Yeah,
Show
that's
me.
right.
Show me the deal.
Yep.
Show me what what we're getting out of it and what the enforcement mechanism is, and maybe I'll think it's good, and maybe I'll think it like we did all this for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was glad that gas prices are still $3.49, but I would like to see them about 60. Well, I'd like to see them $1 lower.
No kidding.
Well, realistically as well, what should we maybe not expect, but what should we hope for as like the win condition? Like what's going to be announced that we can hope for that somebody can say, yeah, we did it. The world's safer and better off now, and not just, oh, okay, cool.
Well, the disposal of the nuclear material, and basically like it's done deal. They're not going to pursue a nuclear program. They can't. Yeah, that would be a big win. They're obviously their military capabilities have been extraordinarily diminished. Yeah, which is good. If there's agreements that and you've got Hezbollah and the Houthis and some of the other like satellite groups not engaging, okay. And if some other countries sign on to the Abraham Accords as a side product, okay, that's good too. But we haven't seen any of these things happen.
Right.
So show us.
I saw the headline in kind of the news service that we subscribe to and everything, and I'm like, in almost any other situation, this would be the massive deal. It's all we're talking about. I've got it. I've got 35 seconds for it in the news dump coming up. That's and that just feels weird to me. I think a lot of people have just disengaged from it. They're like, okay, whatever. We get a big promise, it doesn't come through. Iran says something, they don't follow through. We bomb the crap out of something. They send some drones, and ever so thus it was.
It's got a very heavy Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Feel
to it.
Yes.
And so everyone is kind of like numb to it at this point. If an agreement is reached, if it's beneficial, great.
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Same. And even if it's all said and done and it's actually true this time, I have a feeling most people are going to go, well, okay. What's on TV tonight? What time's that game?
Well,
when's the food getting here? You know, I really think that's going to be the reaction. I mean,
is it bad of me that I'm hoping that a deal gets reached so I can stop hearing about how close they are to making a deal and how devastated they are and how they're begging? I mean, there's compilations out there now that are like several minutes long just of those clips of every single time that President Trump has repeated the same thing over the past few months. And like you said, the boy that cried wolf, eventually it's like, if all of this has been true this whole time, then why is that not the way that the action seemed to
Well, we did say eventually it was going to be true. I mean, you can say it, 100 times and eventually it's going to be true.
Well, I mean, part of it is the nature of how he communicates. I mean, that is part of his negotiation. I don't even know if I'd say strategy, but methodology is, he talks things into existence. So sometimes what he's saying isn't matching with what's happened yet, but that's where he's trying to push things to get. And that is the nature of him, which, it has been, in a lot of respects, has been very successful for him. But at the same time, it's one of those things, like, just as you shouldn't believe everything every time, like, the New York Times runs a story about, some horrible thing that he supposedly did that he actually didn't end up doing. Don't believe everything that you're saying, even that he's saying is like, what's the thing? You're not supposed to, literally, you're supposed to take him seriously, or it's the other way around. I don't know. I mean, so that's kind of what I've come to expect. So when there's something like that we can actually look at and everyone agrees, yes, this is the agreement, okay, then I'll take a look at it. I don't listen as much to what he's saying.
It's an interesting sort of policy to have, is that he read, The Secret, and now he's going out there trying to manifest everything. I hadn't considered that.
Well,
Okay. Well, like I said, I've got about 35 seconds on it in the news dump a little bit later this hour, and that's probably about it. That's probably about all I'm going to do with it today.
Well, and I think people are kind of, like you said, people are tired of it. There's other stuff to talk about until there's something concrete to go on. So, speaking of other things to talk about, Jamie Allman has a big event coming up next Friday, June 19th. Join Jamie for lunch Friday, June 19th at Shorty's Diner, just east of Westport Plaza from noon until 2. Watch Common Sense Radio live and take in the great atmosphere and food at Shorty's Diner, which is at 1204 Lackland Road in the Westport area. As Shorty says, it's not fancy, it's not fat-free, it's just the way it used to be. The Jamie Allman 3 Martini Lunch live Friday, June 19th, noon till 2. Plan on grabbing some friends and joining us.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I'm a very stable genius.
On News Talk STL. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered. Sunday nights at 7 on News Talk STL. Hear all the behind-the-scenes stories about what the State Freedom Caucus is doing across the country, directly from the legislators and the people that are doing it. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, this Sunday night at 7 with your host, Tim Jones. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, now Sunday nights at 7 on News Talk STL.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Booms Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis or go online to overstockoutletstl.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
Hey, it's Susie Moore for Window World. Did you know that in just over the last 20 years, Window World of St. Louis has improved the look and thermal efficiency for over 80,000 customers in St. Louis? Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS. They're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where to be?
It's Flashback Friday.
I got me a
this is Vince Colonnese. I'll talk to you tonight at 8. But now, back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show on News Talk STL.
I got a feeling we're going to be pretty high up on the Susie dance scale throughout the day today.
Probably.
B-52s.
Yes. Good. Great song. I don't know if I'd say a guilty pleasure. I think everyone can just embrace this song.
That was a huge hit.
Huge.
You know, yeah. I see. Of course, being more disco-y, the B-52s were never really my thing. But that was one of those. It's like you kind of admit, like, yeah,
good,
that's pretty
fun song.
That's pretty catchy. Pretty catchy.
Sadly, my handsome Bo David sent me a video about a month ago of a recent performance of theirs it was in Vegas.
Okay.
It was not good.
Oh,
it was like one lady had energy, and the rest of them were like, oh, shit.
Yeah, because they first like hit it big like in the late 70s with or was it really early 80s with Rock Lobster and some of those?
That was early 80s.
Early 80s, okay.
Love Shack was out, and I know I was like my freshman year of college, freshman or sophomore year of college.
What, like 88 or
87?
87.
Yeah, thereabouts. So, they've been around a while, and I mean, they weren't necessarily youngsters when they got big.
Well, when they got big first, of course, early 80s. That's 40 some years ago.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, so. Yeah, we were. Matter of fact, that was Ethan, our sales guy. I was out with him and some friends last night. We actually mentioned we're comparing notes on concerts we'd been to because Ethan and I were talking about going to Sammy Hagar concert tomorrow, and we're like, man, some of the concerts, some of the artists out there, it's like great, you're still going out there, but some of them it's like you just need to hang it up.
Yeah,
it's not an insult. We love what you did, but if you can't do it, you can't do it.
Right. Well, that was the energy that was coming off the stage in Vegas. Love Shack was a hit it was released in 1989. So it was a little bit later.
So that was my senior year.
Yeah,
in high school.
Well,
yeah,
yours.
Yes,
that was my senior year in college.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely that definitely fits the mold for what you were talking about, Jerome.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, let's see here. It's going to be a fun day. I got a feeling this is going to be a lot of fun with the songs. And by the way, on the comments or Rumble chat box or any of those, give me your thoughts, on this as well. Like, okay, was that guilty pleasure? Admit it. So I'm asking everybody, admit it. Did you love this song or not? Okay. All right, I got a feeling the big news story is not done for the week, even though it's Friday. It's going to be a busy weekend here, but it's been another intense week. Let's do a quick flashback on how things, here's what the news sounded like throughout the last, week or so here.
I hope that cooler heads prevail. I hope somebody steps forward in Iran that has the power to actually do a deal and stop this war.
We'll give the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, and that's what they are, they're heroes for what they have to go through to keep us safe, the support and resources they need to defend our borders, protect our homeland, and to keep America safe.
Immigration enforcement in this country should be fair, it should be just, and it should be humane. That's not what is going on right now as it relates to Donald Trump's violent mass deportation machine.
Mr. President, I'm asking you directly, waive the non-disclosure agreements that still bind these patriots.
The bill, which is on its way to Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul for her signature, would remove the word mother from all New York statutes and replace it with, quote, gestating parent.
Ultimately, what we do tonight are going to advance our military interests and also enhance our diplomatic position. Because again, President Trump, he's willing to go back and fight as necessary.
But I'd much rather come to settlements and stop the selling at this point than sort of fight it out in litigation for a couple of years and impose big fines. So today's another big win for those who care about the health, safety, and wellness of Missourians.
That one struck to left field, and what a dive! Oh, what a great
Eric
play!
Schmidt. Amazing catch down the left field line.
The Redbirds would be proud of a play like that.
And Senator Schmidt put on social media, checked off, one of those life goal boxes. He was featured on the Sports Center top 10.
He was.
I think he was like number 5 on the top 10. And he did a number of TV interviews, and just as we thought, the big cut on his, which actually was a pretty big gash that he got there, but no makeup on it. He was happy.
Oh no,
he was showing it off.
Definitely showing off that war wound.
I get it. Now listen, I'm not saying that he's going to become a ringer on one of my old man baseball teams. I am saying though, I tweeted at him and reminded him of my offer, and he did like it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying if he's when he's in town, listen.
There's always a space.
Text me, call me. We'll get you on the roster. We're fine.
Just imagine being in like a Senate debate against Eric Schmidt now, and then it's like, oh, remember that time I caught on you and you didn't get past me? I was MVP. Right. Do you want to sit down and be quiet, maybe?
I wonder if they give like a trophy or a plaque for MVP for the game, because if so, that is going to be like the first thing you see in his office.
I bet they do.
I would think so.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like he's going to be riding the high of that for another few days at least.
You know what? As he should.
Rightly so.
As he should.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what his career batting average, but it seems like every time that game happens, the congressional game, he has like 2 or 3 hits. I mean, and it was funny because I saw an article where they were talking about, the success of the game and everything, and the Republicans really want to win this game. They've been practicing. Apparently, they've been having like weekly practices somewhere in Washington, D.C. since April. I mean, they were not messing around.
Well, yeah, no, they do. I mean, that's what they were doing when Steve Scalise was shot. They were having a practice right, not long before the game. But yeah, they do take it seriously. They actually play a game. It's not just.
And you're in front of tens of thousands of people.
Exactly. So they're trying to put on at least a decent show.
Yeah. You know who I would. What would be the most nerve-wracking position in that situation? This isn't what you do for a living. You don't play baseball. Pitcher.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, so Greg Stubbe's good.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that the Republicans have had the success that they've had over the past few years is because his pitching has been pretty solid.
Yeah. I mean, that's not easy to do. I'm a catcher, and I can throw a baseball to second base and be pretty accurate at it. But ask me to throw it 60 feet 6 inches accurately over the strike zone, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
Yes, it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So congratulations to Eric Schmidt again.
Absolutely.
I'll enjoy it while you can.
Well
man.
deserved.
I don't blame you. All right. This is going to make for an awkward Thanksgiving dinner, I think, out in California. I think you all were already on this at Red State. Karen Bass's brother, the mayor of Los Angeles, suing the city because he and his wife lost their home in the Palisades fire last year. Blaming the city government, which his sister leads, for their loss and injuries because they had smoke inhalation. They got hurt. I mean, they got smoke inhalation. They were actually hurt. So he's added to that lawsuit against the city. So the brother of the mayor is suing, I mean, not her personally, but her office and the city government because of basically the neglect that led to allowing that fire to do more damage than it may have otherwise.
Yeah. I think at first blush, people look at that and they think, oh, like, ooh, that's damning. Like, ooh, no, it's not technically a friendly suit, but it's a friendly suit. I mean, he's suing because they have a right to make the claim and because there's insurance or government money that's going to back it up. It's nothing to do against his sister. He supports his sister. He's voted for his sister. He advocates for her. So at first everyone thought it was like, ooh, like another knock against Karen Bass. It's not. It's just someone making use of the legal system appropriately. I'm not saying it's like a scam, but yeah.
But you got to admit the optics aren't great because there's the lawsuit and the whole premise is the city
failed.
The city failed.
Yeah.
And who is in charge of the city. So the optics of that still are not great.
Yeah, but this is Democrats we're talking about, so they can just kind of hold those two in conflicting concepts at the same time and not just kind of gloss over it.
Exactly.
It's not gonna change anybody's attitudes about it. Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean if you're looking at it objectively, it looks bad, but anybody suing the city with a legitimate claim, it looks bad because the city handled it extraordinarily poorly. And yes, Karen Bass's leadership is right, or lack of leadership is right at the very forefront of that.
Can these claims be denied? Because I think that would make it awkward, even more awkward, if his claim the lawsuit's dropped or he doesn't get his settlement.
Well, okay, there's a couple different things there. So the lawsuit's filed, so it's more than just a claim. It's an actual, it's in litigation as opposed to just filing a claim like with an insurance company. if it gets dropped, you mean like if the court dismisses it?
If they just say, it's not a valid lawsuit or whatever, get out of here and go about your day.
Well, that's in like all or nothing for everybody. In that
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a class action type thing.
Well, there's multiple plaintiffs. It's not just them. It's not just him and his wife. It's like multiple people have joined this lawsuit. He's signed on to it. So, yeah, essentially it's a class action. And, the court will have to make determinations. The city will move to dismiss the case. That's just a normal part of the litigation process. The plaintiffs will have to prove certain things and plead certain things in order to get past a motion to dismiss. That's all part of the legal wrangling. And I don't know yet how that's all going to play out. And I haven't even looked at the how the suit's framed or anything like that. But it's just all part of the process. And at some point, assuming that a court doesn't find a basis to dismiss it, I'm sure will be discussions about settlement, that sort of thing. I don't know that this is one that they would take to trial.
No, I would think they would want to avoid that at all
Probably.
costs. I would think, yeah. But the headlines are kind of delicious.
They are, it kind of underscores, but it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, but if you didn't get it before now, I don't think you're going to get it now. I mean, this was a complete failure on the part of both state and local leadership. And if you didn't think that before up until this point, this lawsuit isn't going to make you think that. You're, I think, dug in from a partisan standpoint.
I think Karen Bass is going to get reelected.
I think so too.
I think she's going to get reelected despite the obvious incompetence, because that's just what happens,
It's ridiculous, but seems to be the way it works.
There's some good news and some shaky news when it comes to the economy right now. Let's dig into that coming up here at 6:35.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Our country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by idiots.
On News Talk STL. From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking afternoon highs a lot cooler than the last several days, back towards the mid to lower 80s. Going to be seeing mostly sunny skies. A beautiful day to get outdoors by Saturday. Could see some chances of some showers and storms, some of which could have the potential to become severe as we head towards the evening hours. Temperatures back towards the mid-80s across much of the area. Showers push out throughout the second half of Sunday. Highs towards the mid to upper 70s. Will dry throughout the first half of next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
It's time to tee off at Sugar Creek Golf Course in High Ridge. Experience one of Jefferson County's premier courses, nestled among picturesque rolling hills. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love the lush fairways, challenging holes, and friendly atmosphere. Make your next round unforgettable at Sugar Creek Golf Course. Open to the public, but you can also become a member. Just log on to sugarcreekgolfcourse.com for more information and tee times. sugarcreekgolfcourse.com.
This is Kurt Barr, St. Charles County Director of Elections, inviting you to our Sundays on Sunday family-friendly open house. Stop by for a behind-the-scene look at how your elections are run. Kids can vote at a mock polling place using a real ballot. You can meet candidates appearing on the August primary ballot, and everyone can enjoy free ice cream. The County Pet Adoption Center will also be on site with dogs looking for new homes. Join us Sunday, June 14th from 2 to 5 p.m. Details at sccmo.org/elections.
Tim Jones here to introduce you to your new favorite roofing company, Corel Roofing. There were 4 major storms last year. Did your roof take a hit? Do you even know? Most homeowner insurance policies require claims to be filed within 1 year, so time's running out for a closer look. At Corel Roofing Company, you get a local roofing specialist who will advocate for you every step of the way. Give yourself peace of mind. Schedule your roof inspection today with Corel Roofing at CorelRoofingCo.com. That's CorelRoofingCo.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Bill Eigel, candidate for St. Charles County Executive, wants to get rid of property tax. Let's see what the heavyweight champion of municipal policy thinks about that. David Stokes, Friday at 9:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Won't make a mistake. I'll be guiding you. Have to believe we are magic. Nothing can stand in our way. Have to believe we are magic. Don't let your aim ever stray. And if
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight. But now let's get back to Mike.
I'm not gonna confess to.
It's Olivia Newton-John.
I know it's Olivia Newton-John, and yeah.
Oh, this is a good song.
It was big for its time.
No, I liked it.
Yeah,
this is a good one.
I
And
could-
again, I feel no guilt.
There you go. All right, 6:34 on this Flashback Friday here. All right, we're getting some mixed signals when it comes to the economy. There's some good news, without a doubt. There's also, some shaky, not so great news because, things still are getting more expensive. So the question then is, what should we be planning for? We're now joined by Steve Swedberg from our friends at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. Steve, appreciate you being back on the show here. So let's talk about for instance, the things that aren't so great. Inflation up just not huge, but it's up a little bit. It's the highest it's been, in 2.5, 3 years, something like that. Not what we had several years ago during the Biden administration, but still, arrow's not going the way that we want to, and that could mean a decision by the Federal Reserve to try to counter that not everybody's going to like. So let's start there, that we can get to some of the things that are showing some good signs right now.
So, yeah, I mean, a few things. Number one, you are right. Inflation was worse during the Biden administration, and it hasn't been this bad for about 3 years. Also, what you have to keep in mind is that we haven't gotten prices anywhere near pre-pandemic levels. The economy hasn't recovered in terms of prices, hasn't recovered from the 21-22 inflation spike. And when you combine that with the current inflation, everyday Americans really feeling it at the gas pump. They're feeling it at when they go buy groceries. So inflation still is very much a big issue, and you're going to run into that, especially with what's going on in the Middle East. And so that's also putting more upward pressure on particularly energy prices. And that ripples throughout the supply chain. Even while I was in Portugal a few weeks ago, I felt it there as well.
Steve, how much of the current inflation numbers are a function of the gas, the energy prices? So in other words, if you back those out of the equation, not that you can, from a practical standpoint, it's still affecting us. But if you're looking at other measures of of inflation, how are those looking?
Well, in terms of inflation, so the Federal Reserve has an inflation target of 2%. We haven't had that for over 5 years. So we were hovering around the 2.53%. With this current spike, it's closer to the 4% mark right now. When you look at over a 12-month basis. So the current conflict in the Middle East is definitely playing a major role. But again, the prices haven't calmed down. They're better, but they're not great.
What's the Fed likely to do when it comes to the interest rates? Obviously, the president's trying to pressure them to lower rates.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Fed likely to do? And then the bigger question, because this is something that wonky people like us get into, but what does that actually mean to normal people out there?
So one of the reasons why Trump is pushing for lower rates is because lower rates tend to stimulate economic growth. So mortgages become cheaper, so do car loans. It's easier. Even credit card rates are better as a result. But that comes with a trade-off, especially right now. The labor market seems to be doing well, so employment levels aren't an issue like they were 6 months ago when Jerome Powell did his last interest rate cut. And now you have these higher inflation rates, which is to say that the economy is running too hot. And if you have lower rates while the economy is still running hot, then prices are going to go up even more. In terms of your question of what they're likely to do, I think with the new inflation data, it'd be really hard to make a case to lower rates. So at this point, they're either going to hold the rates, or there's actually a decent chance that they're going to actually raise interest rates this year.
And they're meeting next week again, aren't they?
That is correct.
Okay. So I obviously will wait to see what it looks, if it looks any different under Kevin Warsh's leadership there or not. But what are there other signs in the economy that are actually maybe brighter spots?
I would say the labor market's a brighter spot because last year it was a bit lackluster in terms of new jobs, and Bureau of Labor Statistics just came out with upward revisions for the past couple of months, which I think the total was around 188,000 on top of the 177,000 that they announced for May. So in spite of what's going on in the Middle East, at least job growth is at least being resilient right now. So I would say that's a good sign for the labor market.
We're visiting with Steve Swedberg from our friends at Competitive Enterprise Institute. Okay, so I want to kind of go with what you're talking about there, with the labor market being a little more durable, right now. And so, does that show a confidence in the near future of the economy right now by employers and investors? Is this a swing of some sort, or does this look like we're getting a really better footing economically speaking?
That is a good question. I mean, it could really go. It could really, with everything going on, it could really go. You can make a case for it to go either way. I mean, I think a concern I have as well is with the bond rates going up a bit, with everything going on with spending and the confidence of whether or not deficit spending, and that's why the Fed under the Warsh does here is important, because if foreign investors don't have confidence in the U.S. to manage its monetary policy or its fiscal policy properly, that will make it more difficult for us to pay off our debt in the future.
All right, I'm a little conflicted in asking this because I'm always leery of suggesting that government should actually be trying to to control it all from the top, micromanage it, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
However, and obviously, if things come to some sort of resolution in the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz opens back up, and you start getting that kind of free flowing of traffic, that's going to obviously have a beneficial effect on the energy prices and the ripple effects of that. But what else can the administration do without overdoing to kind of help bolster and shore up the economy?
That is a good question. I would say for a government, for our standpoint, less is more.
Yeah.
I would, without getting too much into this, I would say, and I know this might be kind of like our wish list, because I would say I would request that the Trump administration back off on the tariffs, because those are also putting upward price pressure. Actually, the Fed came out with a report recently saying, I think this was right around when the conflict in Iran started, that if there weren't the tariffs, our consumer prices would have recovered to pre-pandemic levels. So that would be one for sure. I know, I mean, without getting into details, I know they've been trying to cut regulations more generally, so that's always a good approach. But I mean, there's a lot of directions we can go here. Even Social Security, the Social Security Administration just came out with their report saying that the trust fund is going to expire in 2032, which is a year sooner than they predicted last year. So we only have 6 years before, by statute, benefits will be cut by 22%. So there's a lot that could be done.
Yeah, and I wanted to, because I saw some of those headlines too, and the thing is, I think so many people are numb to those headlines, Steve, because we keep hearing that over and over again. You know, how many times we've been told it was going to run dry, we're going to run out, and yet there always seems to be something that shores it up, because the people who are most likely to vote, in all candor, are the ones who are closest to getting the benefits. Well, now that's Gen X knocking on the door of that. And it
don't remind me.
I know. I'm saying, I'm just looking at the years and doing the math on this. Is this at some point? I mean, is this a concern and a threat that we really have to take seriously this time, or is this just another, they're doing the sky is falling thing in Washington D.C. again?
No, I mean, with regards to Social Security, I mean, I remember in college I was doing some advocacy for trying to help with Social Security, but if it's not an urgent problem right now, they're going to kick the can down the road until it becomes one, and that's something people don't realize, that like the default right now is that benefits will be cut by 22%, and honestly, at this point, I think whoever runs for president in 2028 needs a plan for Social Security, because it is coming up sooner than people care to admit.
Well, yeah, and also we've also got now generations that are producing fewer children, fewer workforce, because I mean, not to be flippant about it, but Social Security basically, even though we all pay into this, and it's essentially a Ponzi scheme. I mean, it's a grand scale Ponzi scheme is how it's structured, and so. You have fewer people contributing and you've got more people taking the benefits, it's going to tip at some point.
Oh yeah, no, it has the same exact pay-as-you-go mechanism that a Ponzi scheme has, but it's even worse because when the money dries up, at least with an actual Ponzi scheme, once the money dries up, the scheme ends. With Social Security, they just keep increasing taxes or they cut benefits and just keep they don't fix anything structurally or don't even think about privatization. So they just keep the party going with more taxes, and then we pay for it in more debt and less economic growth.
All right, Steve Swedberg, CEI. Go ahead and let us know where people can follow your work, social media, website, that sort of thing. I actually put your article with the one that you and Ryan wrote, up on our chat box on Rumble. We'll put that up on social media. But where do we find the rest of your work?
You can go to CEI.org, click on the Teen tab, or you'll find me there. And then once you click on my link, you'll find all my articles.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Steve. You too. All right, coming up next week, we got another fun event to let you know about. Thursday, June 18th at De Pere Lodge, Tim Jones will host Scrap the Tax, all the ins and outs of the potential changes to the Missouri income tax system. Special guest, Grover Norquist, founder of Americans for Tax Reform, will talk about Missouri achieving smart tax policy. State Representative Bishop Davidson and Representative Ben Keithley will also talk about Amendment 5. Scrap the Tax Thursday, June 18th, 5 to 7 p.m. at De Pere Lodge. For more information, go to eagleforum.org/events.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk. Live and local.
I need to know what's going on in my city.
News Talk STL.
Hey, Colombo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
There's an old way to buy a mattress, and there's a new way. The old way, lay on a few mattresses, guess, and hope you got it right. The new way, at Snooze Mattress Company, we use dream mapping technology to measure your pressure points, alignment, and support needs before you buy. No guessing, no pressure, just a mattress matched to your body. And during our birthday celebration month, you'll find some of the best opportunities of the year to invest in better sleep. Experience the new way to buy a mattress at Snooze Mattress Company in Chesterfield. Because when you sleep better, everything gets better.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, your financial friend with Serenity Wealth Management. Tune in this Sunday right here on NewsTalkSTL for the Serenity Wealth Now show. This week we've got special guest Katie Modulin of Magic Expeditions joining us in the studio to talk about travel tips for the upcoming summer season. It is a big question that comes up. What do you want to do when you retire? I want to travel more. Well, tune in this Sunday to learn travel tips for the upcoming season and to make sure you can travel the right way for your retirement. We'll see you on Sunday.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a two-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me for the Right Mind Show on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this wacky radio station. And speaking of wacky, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Maybe the ultimate guilty pleasure song from the 80s?
And the ultimate Rickroll.
Yeah. What is it about this song that has given it such... I mean, this song has held up. And it's a pretty normal pop song from the 80s, but something about this song.
I think it has all of the right elements in the right combination. It's like, baking the perfect apple pie. It's like everything just comes together perfectly in this song. It's cheesy, but not too cheesy.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's got, up tempo. It's
unapologetically just fun.
And it became a kind of a cultural phenomenon because of the Rickroll. So that, I don't know. There's nothing to not like about this song.
Yeah. And if somebody's like, I hate this song and I hate Rick Astley, then you start questioning that
Then
person.
they hate apple pie.
Right. There you go. All right, 6:49 right now. All right, it's the amusement park ride that lasted almost 3 hours. That is not a good thing.
That's
We'll
not
tell you what
amusement.
happened. No. And stop me if you've heard this one before. We're being told the war against Iran is about to be over. Maybe this time it's true. I don't know. Cardinals start a new series tonight, hoping to keep their momentum going. It is, like I said, 6:49, going on 6:50. Let's do a news dump. What do you think?
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by The Nutrition Stop.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out.
They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
Rescue crews were called to Six Flags when a ride malfunctioned, stranding 4 people 120 feet in the air. The Sky Screamer ride broke down around 5:30 yesterday afternoon with 2 adults and 2 teenagers on it, so this was all the same family. They finally got back on the ground almost 3 hours later. Nobody was hurt. I have unconfirmed reports that the first thing that was said was, "Where's the bathroom?"
I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Oh, my goodness.
I can only imagine.
That is like horrific.
It is.
Good
It
God.
really is. And
I mean,
again, like I said, at least they weren't like hanging upside down or like in an awkward position. They were in a seated position, but your legs are dangling there. You're, up off the ground quite a ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah, you got a great view of, look, that storm's on the way.
Well, that's true. We had storms that rolled through last night.
Yeah, which I was in Westport Social, so I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, and we didn't get the worst of it. It was much worse. I mean, there was tornadoes out the wazoo in Illinois, like in northern Illinois, and then across the plains. I mean, amazing stuff. So thankfully, we didn't get it too bad here.
It shook me all night long. I mean, I was dead asleep, and then all of a sudden I saw this big flash, and I felt the rumble. And
I
then,
saw your post. You're like, hey, some of us have to get up early.
Yeah. Thanks, storm clouds.
There you go. All right, the man accused of shooting 2 Minnesota state lawmakers and their spouses, killing Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, changed his plea to guilty on Thursday. U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota, his name's Daniel Rosen, explains why prosecutors decided to take the death penalty off the table and accept a plea deal.
When you have a defendant that is prepared to plead guilty, take consecutive life terms plus, to ensure that he never sees freedom again in his entire life, that was an opportunity that we just could not pass up.
Okay, so that shooter also faces several state charges, including murder, impersonating a police officer. These shootings were obviously just one of several high-profile political violence acts over the last few years.
Horrific. And actually, this is, interesting because today's June 12th. It happened on June 14th last year. So it's almost a year to the day from the murders. And I just was like when that whole manhunt was going on and there were so many questions around. I mean, this is such a strange character and his motivations are weird. And everyone thought it meant one thing, but it maybe meant another. Horrible situation. And what a tragic loss for the people that were killed and their family.
Yeah, without a doubt. Part of Route 94 going to be closed starting at 7 p.m. tonight. So heads
Which
up.
part?
Heads up. Lanes are going to be closed between the westbound Route 370 exit ramp and the eastbound 370 exit ramp through
so north of the
Sunday.
city.
So,
Okay.
yeah. And they're going to do that again next weekend, by the way. That's to allow work on the Discovery Bridge. The other direction, though, the 2 lanes in each direction on Route 370 are going to remain open. It's just Route 94 going the other way that they're going to be the closure. So if you're going to be around Route 94 near the Discovery Bridge, just understand you're going to get routed somewhere else. It may be a better idea just to find another way to get there.
I don't know how to tell people this, but it's summertime. There's construction.
Oh, yeah.
Road construction.
Yeah.
Kind of the way it is.
It is orange cone season.
It is, for sure.
Yep. Okay, President Trump announcing on Thursday that he's canceled plans to carry out further attacks against Iran, at least for the time being. This was taken from a phone call where he was talking to reporters endorsing Georgia Republican gubernatorial candidate Burt Jones. President says that there is a peace deal, and it's pretty simple.
We ended the war with Iran today, and they have agreed never to have a nuclear weapon, something that we insisted on. That was the whole purpose. That was 95% of it. And they've done it in the most powerful way you can do it.
And the president also says that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be reopened as soon as everything is signed as part of the deal. We'll see. Yeah.
I'm reserving judgment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not that we don't want it to be the
Absolutely.
case, but we'll see. We've been hearing it a lot. Just saying. Okay, your little one may love that go-kart, maybe that little toy race car. You've seen those. But keep it in the driveway.
Yes.
All right, yeah, that's the word from the O'Fallon City Council, talking about O'Fallon on the Missouri side. On Thursday, the City Council approved a new ordinance that bans things like mini bikes and motorized scooters and go-karts and the self-propelled skateboards from city streets, from city parks, and from sidewalks. E-bikes are not affected by this new ordinance. City officials say they're going to focus on educating people about the new rules at first instead of writing tickets right away. Some of those little cars can go.
Yeah. And I think it does need to be addressed. People,
Yeah, because kids are like, you get into a cul-de-sac or you go to some of these like residential areas, kids are like shooting around everywhere. That's what prompted it.
Well, and yes, kids, but not even just kids. Even I would say young adults or older teenagers. It's not just little ones. But either way, the bottom line is that's a safety hazard, so it does need to be addressed.
Now, there's a bit of a controversy, in O'Fallon, because some people said, man, an outright ban even on the sidewalks, and are you going too far? And so there's the degrees. We've seen a lot of this, for instance, with the bird bikes in the city, with the golf carts all over the area, both in the city and in the county, in St. Charles County as well. So basically, we're coming up with ways to make lighter, self-propelled vehicles that we didn't used to do with that are electric, and there's a lot more options, and you don't need a license for them. So everybody's like, well, what do we do with them?
Well, people have places to be.
Yeah.
And I would much rather have something smaller and lighter that's less likely to cause me physical damage, such as a electric bike or one of these self-propelled skateboards, than I would somebody being reckless in a vehicle, like a full-on car.
The problem is that they're being reckless around other vehicles. Yeah. It's creating a hazard for the people that are driving, trying not to hit them and run them over. That sort of thing.
And the little kid with the go-kart, those things are, you're maybe 3 feet high. You can't, a driver can't see that.
And if they're not following the rules of the road, but you are, that could still mess you up.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not an easy thing. I would hate to be the city councilman that has to ban your kid from having fun in the cul-de-sac or whatever, but you got to address it. There's nobody was going to be happy with the results no matter what.
Right. It's like data centers.
Oh, you went there.
I went there.
Look at that. Oh, goodness. All right. Okay, this is interesting. Those cheap sunglasses could be doing more harm than good. They could actually be hurting you. Some eye doctors are warning that sunglasses without full UV protection could actually be harmful. And the reason, they said in this recent article that I read, is that your pupils are open wider because of the dark lenses that's blocking the light. And because your pupils are open wider, but the UV rays are still getting into your eyes, it can actually, over time, do more damage. So they suggest looking for sunglasses listed as UV 400 or listed as offering 100% UV protection.
Okay, well.
So the dollar store glasses maybe ain't it.
Mine are prescription sunglasses.
Oh, you're good.
So they should be good.
You're good. You're good. I just never thought of it that way. You just figure sunglasses are sunglasses, but no, there's apparently a difference.
Yeah.
In that. Yep. Okay, the Cardinals win the series, but they fall short of the sweep. On Thursday, the Mets won the last game of that series 5-4. So the Cardinals won the first two. Mets get the last one. Redbirds road trip continues tonight in Minnesota. First pitch is going to be at 7:10. This is another one of those games that's going to be on over the air. So Channel 4, KMOV, is going to have this game tonight. It's not going to be on the Cardinals TV streaming thing as well, but this is actually also going to be on broadcast.
Nice.
So as MLB Cardinals are doing a lot more of that. I think it's a good thing.
I agree.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. From the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, violent storms have roared across a vast area, with the Midwest especially hard hit.
Aerial footage shows huge trees on top of crushed vehicles and window panes blown from tall buildings. At least 3 tornadoes ripped through communities near Chicago Thursday. Police warned residents to take cover in Maryville, Indiana, about 33 miles southeast of Chicago. When it was over, trees and power lines blocked streets. Homes were damaged and the roof of part of a high school was ripped off. In Streator, Illinois, local TV news shows a husband and wife trapped in the rubble of their home being rescued by police. The mayor says they're just grateful there have been no reported deaths. I'm Donna Warder.
Forecasters warn of the possibility of more strong to severe storms later today. President Trump raising hopes for a speedy end to the standoff with Iran. Mr. Trump addressing a tele-rally last night saying that a deal with Iran is close at hand.
I don't know if you heard, but we ended the war with Iran today, and they have agreed never to have a nuclear weapon, something that we insisted on. That was the whole purpose. That was 95% of it, and they've done it in the most powerful way you can do it.
Skeptics note the president has made similar remarks before, saying they'll believe it when they see it, and questioning whether Iran can be trusted to honor whatever deal is made. They will not be cutting the ribbon today for the new Gordie Howe International Bridge spanning the Detroit River, after all. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority says unresolved issues forcing postponement of today's planned ceremony. There's no word yet on when the U.S.-Canada span will be open. On Wall Street, the Dow futures up 375 points. NASDAQ futures 180 points higher ahead of this morning's opening bell. More on these stories at townhall.com.
When you're vacationing in your RV, there are some things you can always count on. Laying out on a hammock, waking up to birds chirping, and board games with the family.
What? It's not cheating.
Frank, you're scaring the kids.
Oh, come on, guys. We're having fun. It's family time.
With Progressive, your RV is protected 24/7, so you're prepared for whatever you don't see coming.
Technically, it's a loophole.
It's a children's board game. You're a grown man, Frank.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Veterans and active duty service members. When your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
from the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking afternoon highs a lot cooler than the last several days, back towards the mid to lower 80s. We're going to be seeing mostly sunny skies, a beautiful day to get outdoors by Saturday. Could see some chances of some showers and storms, some of which could have the potential to become severe as we head towards the evening hours. Temperatures back towards the mid-80s across much of the area. Showers push out throughout the second half of Sunday, highs towards the mid to upper 70s. Will dry throughout the first half of next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Window World of St. Louis. For replacement windows, doors, and siding, call 800-GET-WINDOWS. That's 800-GET-WINDOWS.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
Mike Ferguson.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Susie Moore.
They look very aggressive. I think they want to beat me up.
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
I'm still fascinated by this thing that happened at Six Flags. The question is, does it make you question like going on other rides and things like that? I want to get into that just a minute. Here it goes. Okay. I'm just putting the question out there saying, by the way, Flashback Friday here. This has been kind of fun. I figured it would be. Those feel-good, guilty pleasure songs. Though they're rolling all morning long here. All right. So go into the weekend fully informed. That's what redstate.com is for, which you won't do there. So, Susie, what will enrich our knowledge today?
This is the Red State Rundown.
First up today from Jennifer Oliver O'Connell, Utah court clerks allegedly pulled a Hannah Dugan for illegals. I don't know if you saw these. These were court employees who figured out a way to access the docketing system, and they could check on someone's illegal or citizenship status. So if they found people in the system that were going to be having court appearances that were not here legally, they would go to those courtrooms after their hearings or whatever and escort them out of the court so that they wouldn't get
So they weren't really necessarily in court for the immigration violation, just they're in court for something else. And
Correct.
they just go, oh, yeah, but.
Right. So they figured out ways to kind of sneak them out so they wouldn't get detained by ICE or anything like that. And now they are facing federal charges.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. This one from Ben Smith. Bloody Thursday for Starmer. 2 more ministers quit, 7 gone in a month. Yeah, he is losing ministers right and left. I think the confidence in Keir Starmer is like left the building. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see that all kind of falling apart. I don't know what that's going to hold for the future, but I don't think Starmer's long for his role.
No, but if Graham Plattner loses, he'll send him a LinkedIn.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's always that. Yeah. Silver line. And then we've got from Bob Hogue, paging James Comey, who defaced the National Mall with giant 8647 numbers. Okay, yeah. That's cute.
Yeah, I saw the headline. That was that just on like the sidewalk? I didn't actually read the article yet on that.
Yeah, it's on. It's in the grass, like the grassy area. So they figured out a way to like discolor the grass and spell out 8647.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
edgy.
Yeah.
So edgy, so brave.
So brave. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if anyone's checked into where James Comey was at that point in time, and we might need to do that.
There you go, redstate.com. Okay, I don't know why, especially after seeing the images in the video of the Sky Screamer ride at Six Flags malfunctioning. This family of 4, 120 feet in the air, just kind of dangling there. I mean, just hanging there by whatever cord that is that's keeping you up in the giant baby seat.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than just a cord, but
yeah, but whatever it is,
you're dangling.
Yeah.
Well, at least
if you're 120 feet in the air and all you feel is the seat underneath you, you're thinking
kind of swaying in the breeze. At least they were all there together.
That's something.
Family of 4. I mean, that's kind of the family that has a scary moment on a ride together. Is bonded over that? I don't know.
Well, or because you mentioned this earlier, Jerome. There's another option to that. That would be, you said earlier, there's somebody up there who probably said, I told you I didn't want to go on this ride.
I told you we should have went on the water ride instead.
Well, maybe. I don't know if they interviewed the people once they were rescued or if they just let them have their...
Yeah, I have a feeling Six Flags, the last thing they wanted is those people in front of cameras. They were probably like, here, we'll give you free hot dogs. Here, please. Would you like a season pass? No, you don't? Yeah.
Go out of their way to make that right, yeah. I mean, it is... So I've always been somebody who is probably prone to some anxiety when it comes to risky, risk-taking kind of things. And then, being an insurance defense attorney for almost 30 years kind of drilled that into my head because, like I worked the case involving the zoo train that the engineer was killed on, a zoo train.
Yeah.
Things go wrong mechanically. I worked a case where a hayride went wrong and people were killed and seriously injured. Things that you don't think would go wrong can go wrong. And so when you're talking about a carnival ride or particularly carnivals as opposed to amusement parks.
I would never get on a carnival ride. Yeah.
I mean,
have you seen the people that run these things?
Exactly.
No.
You've got to trust that everybody is doing their best and checking what they're supposed to be checking. And I have less and less trust as I get older.
And on the amusement parks, I mean, generally speaking, it's fine because that's the whole point is they make you feel like you're unsafe when you know in your head you actually are. That's the whole point of the thrill ride. Yeah. Is that the carnival thing, like the county fairs, and they set up the carnival at the in the parking lot at the Galleria or something like that. No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there is one set up right now at the Galleria, I think.
Is it right now?
Yeah.
Because they do it a couple times a year out there. I mean, nobody goes to the Galleria for anything else at this point, but but yeah, I mean, those rides, it's like, no, have you seen those things? You can hear them creaking, and then again, look at the people who are running these things. This is what they do for a living.
I've been on those on occasion, within reason. I mean, there's some things that I just can't bring myself to trust, and if it's something that's going way high up in the air or extraordinarily fast, I'm going to steer clear of it just because I know things can go wrong. And again,
you can't live your life, with saying I'm going to be completely 100% safe.
No, you can't. I mean, if you do, you're going to live a very isolated, unfun life. But yeah, I mean, you're putting a lot of faith in other people's competence and their commitment to doing the right thing. Right. And that's one of the things, I mean, we've seen that across the board, I feel like, in the past, maybe 10, 20 years, this sort of it's kind of like we talk about customer service. Yeah. Like people don't care about whether they're doing a good job or not. Well, that's one thing if it's a rude clerk at a grocery store or whatever. It's a totally different thing if it's somebody who's making sure that the bolts are tightened on a ride that could propel you off into space.
That's right. Well, and this could have very well been a situation where the people did everything right, but the metal somewhere broke. It wore down over time, and it was where it was supposed to be, but it just gave out.
Right. We don't know yet what caused this. Right. It could have been mechanical failure. It could have been human failure. It could have been a combination. It could have been any number of things. The good news is that, no one was injured. And God knows we've experienced that at Six Flags before. When I was a kid, there was the horrible Skywalk crash.
Yeah.
Horrible, horrible tragedy. So, it can be way worse than this. So.
Well, the interesting thing, too, is that immediately when this came into the headlines, the initial thought was not, this is something that sometimes happens at amusement parks. This is, is this going to be involving teens again?
Right.
And that's really kind of
rescue
weird.
Crews called to Six Flags like, what'd the kids do now?
Big brawl. No.
Yeah. No, not this
wasn't
time.
that. And you know what? Since that first incident early in the season, we have not heard.
Nope.
I mean, I think that their policy has had its desired effect.
Yes.
On that front.
Not that it hasn't happened, because there was the big melee outside of the Sky Zone that happened. What was that, Shrewsbury or someplace like that?
Well, and there was an incident at the Mid Rivers Mall Carnival.
There was
last weekend.
Yeah. So they're going, and obviously the teen takeovers is like a thing that law enforcement is talking about a lot. But again, at Six Flags, they seem to have taken care of the problem.
Yes, just now they've got to focus on some other problems.
Right, exactly. So it sucks for Six Flags. Of course, they're in the middle of that sale and the merger. And if you look at the percentage of times when something goes wrong on the rides, it would be a minuscule fraction of a fraction of a fraction of 1%. But when it happens, well, the visuals are compelling, as we like to say in the media.
Yeah. So, and that, as someone who has an issue with flying, I can relate to that as well.
So put yourself in there. Imagine yourself up there. Close your eyes and visualize you in that seat, 120 feet in the air. And she's already grabbing the table. Like, no. Oh, man.
I don't know. I feel like this is one of those situations where I wouldn't necessarily panic in this particular setup, but I would not be happy about it.
Oh, no, not in the least bit. All right, 7:14 here. All right, before we run off to another information segment here, you mentioned this a little bit ago. Grover Norquist is coming to town.
Yes.
And Tim Jones is going to be hosting an event with the folks at the Eagle Forum. This is going to be this coming Thursday in Des Peres.
Yeah, at the Lodge.
Yeah, at the Lodge, where there's a lot of events that happen. That's where we had our Americans for Prosperity event a couple weeks ago. But Grover Norquist, America's one of the country's best-known tax reformers and tax reform advocates, and Grover's always fun. I always enjoy chatting with him. He is likely going to be on the show this coming week.
Awesome.
With us to kind of preview this. Tim texted me, and he's like, hey, you want Grover on? I'm like, well, yeah, I want Grover on.
Why would you not?
Yeah, I haven't talked to Grover in, 6 or 7 months. So Grover's going to be on the program here at some point. I don't know which day. But essentially, they're going to be getting into the details of, okay, what's the reality? What are the myths of reforming the tax code in Missouri, because it's such a big decision that voters are going to make in August.
It is.
Yeah, so check that out. NewsTalkSTL.com, and you can get a lot more information on that.
All right, it's 7:20. We're going to ask you to tell us which media hot take was the worst of the week. And there are some doozies this time around.
I've had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Everybody wants me to dance. Could you imagine FDR dancing?
On News Talk STL.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
On the next,
Larry Connors, USA.
The story behind the story. This date, 1966, the police Miranda warning became law.
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
News Talk STL is turning 5, and you're invited to the party. Join us Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville for a totally rad celebration with the Retro Nerds, St. Louis's favorite 80s tribute band. Live on the outside stage from 7 to 10. It's an all-ages show, so bring the whole family and stop by and see us at the News Talk STL Pavilion right near the stage. Frankie Martin's Garden, the place for and about community in Cottleville. Details at frankiemartinsgarden.com.
Never paint again. This is Darren, owner of Rhino Shield. Want to eliminate painting your home, business, or church? Call the experts at Rhino Shield. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic wall coating to regular paint and vinyl. Perfect for aluminum, steel, unpainted brick, block, stucco, ephes, drive-it, cement board, and wood sidings. Rhino Shield eliminates wasting time and money painting year after year. Our ceramic coating deflects 90% of the sun's UV rays and 100% of the moisture. Our clients want affordable protection with the elimination of maintenance. Rhino Shield protects your biggest investment while maintaining your architectural features and gives you the curb appeal you deserve. Make your home great again by working with the Rhino Shield experts. A+ rated with the BBB. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL. The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee, because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
That may have cleared the 7 on the Susie dance.
You got to kind of bounce around.
It's a bebop.
It is a bebop.
Yeah, it's not even so much like dance. It's just bop.
You'll notice I did not try to do any like cheerleading flips or anything like that.
But you're the one who's experienced in those sorts of things.
Yeah, but I was a hockey cheerleader, so we didn't do stunts.
Oh, okay.
We were like right outside. We didn't have a whole lot of room to work with, so it was more just standing and cheering.
The funny part is this is like one of those defining videos for MTV, which probably had a budget of about $5 to make it. Toni Basil was never she was never wanting to be a singer. That was not her thing.
Mm-mm.
This was accidental because she was a dance choreography.
Yep.
That's what she did for a living was dance choreography. And so I don't even know how she ended up voicing the song, because this was never supposed to be like her thing. And then it got huge on MTV.
Yep.
Good feel-good choice.
Absolutely.
She does look freaky in this music video, though. I'm not going to lie.
Well, that was the 80s, though.
She's kind of got like the Joan Jett look with cheerleader hair and a cheerleader uniform.
Yeah. Very theatrical.
Yes.
On there.
Like a Raggedy Ann that came to life and started dancing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of these you look back, you're like, oh, that's creepy. But at the time, we thought it was a lot of fun.
And no, we weren't on drugs.
No, we were too young.
Yeah.
The other kids, older maybe, but no,
Maybe.
we weren't. No, exactly. All right. Our friends at the, oh, by the way, we just heard that promo there. News Talk STL's birthday is coming up.
Yeah.
We are throwing a party, and we hope you're going to join us at the party this month. I want to give you some of the details on that here in just a couple minutes. But our friends at the Media Research Center, they've got a difficult job. Yeah,
Yes, they do.
narrowing down the worst mainstream media hot takes each week.
How do you do it?
Yeah, so we've got 3 finalists again here. Jerome, can we retweet out the MRC's poll on that? So you're going to get the choices on the poll, vote in it, and then Monday you can check out their poll to see who actually won. So who is the worst of the week? Let's get to the nominees, please.
I am conflicted about this country because I feel that it is, at this point, a failed experiment.
Or maybe Sunny co-hosting a show is the failed experiment. But will she be the worst media quote of the week? Here's our contenders. Option number 1, Scott Pelley claims he's been in combat for his country.
I've never worn the uniform, but I've been in combat for this country. In Afghanistan, I'm not aware that the President of the United States has ever done any of those things for his country.
Option number 2, Jim Acosta says changing up 60 Minutes is un-American and hurts the country.
Barry Weiss, you are hurting this country when you try to tear down an institution like 60 Minutes.
And option number 3, The View's Sunny Hostin claims America is a failed experiment.
I'm embarrassed by the criminal felon president that is in the Oval Office that has a UFC cage. I am conflicted about this country because I feel that it is, at this point, a failed experiment.
And now it's time for you to participate in our experiment and vote for the worst. This poll is funded by our good friend James Jamiro. And be sure to check out Newsbusters on Monday, and you'll find out which member of the media snagged the title for the MRC's Worst Media Quote of the Week.
Okay. All right. Now we've retweeted that, right? Yes. Okay. That's out there. You can see that. Okay. This is a pretty good competition this week. I know who I'm leaning to, but I could be convinced to change my vote.
They're kind of all of a piece. Like they're all similar, and like, it's a media person that's going out of their way to, I don't know. I feel like Scott Pelley's dramatic delivery is so in keeping with his persona. It's so here I'm doing the dramatic delivery. I can't get past it. Yeah. It's like this fellow is so full of himself and so certain that he is like, the noble. I don't know. The lack of self-awareness is just crazy high off the scales.
That's why I'm leaning towards Scott Pelley here. So here's my challenge. Hey, Scott, go make that claim to a veteran who has actually seen combat and go say, well, I've never worn the uniform, but I've been in combat for this country because you were a coddled reporter, maybe who was embedded, that I was in combat for the country. So go tell that to some guy who's dealing with injuries from an IED.
Yeah.
Go make that claim. That's my challenge. I will pay somebody money to let me witness that conversation.
And not to mention the fact that he ties it into President Trump, and Trump actually was hit by a bullet and was in an area where gunfire was killing people around it.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that.
So, I mean, if you want to talk about being in combat.
He took a bullet for this country, Scott.
Yeah. And had to experience and witness what was going on around him. That just like it wouldn't compare to the same thing as actual warfare, obviously.
No.
But I think that would be a little bit more closer to that than sitting there and harumph for rumph.
Right. Yeah. The hubris is just, and lack of self-awareness is like it permeates. Like you can smell it in the air when he's talking. It's bad.
And the thing is that Scott Pelley is a smart guy.
He is.
This is a really smart guy. He has skills. He just chooses to use them for stupidity and activism as opposed to being a good journalist. He could do it.
Well, and that's what's because his quote as well, if he had chose different language, then I think he could have actually made a better point. If he said, I have not worn a uniform, but I still fight for this country or something, then that would have at least made you sound somewhat intelligent and get the point across. But this sounded like you were trying to be more dramatic just so you could take a jab at Trump.
Right. And unlike him, Jim Acosta is not smart.
Right.
I don't think that he is. So I feel like that was just a dumb thing to say, but it was a very on-brand Jim Acosta thing to say.
It completely. And this is, to follow up what you said about Scott Pelley, this is Jim Acosta still thinking he's important.
Right.
It's like Don Lemon.
Yeah.
Thinking that you're important. Like,
it's
don't
like
you?
The Sixth Sense for old journalists. They don't know they're dead. They are.
Yeah, with Acosta, it's like, don't you know who I am? It's like, yeah, but we already forgot you.
Yeah, we're over you.
Yeah, you reminded us because and so, yeah, the whole thing is like 60 Minutes at one point absolutely was a media institution. To say Barry Weiss is tearing it down. No, she's saying you need to go back to the standards that it was known for decades ago.
She's trying to shore up its credibility and bring it back to that. So they just don't like that. It's, they don't get to have their way with it.
Sunny Hostin. I mean, you could pick something every week from Sunny Hostin, but America is a failed experiment because Donald Trump is president.
Yeah.
If you remove President Trump from that clip, though, I sort of have to agree in some regards. I mean, I was very much conscious and aware of what was being presented to us under the Biden administration. That was extremely embarrassing. I was very embarrassed for the fact that that's the direction that we were heading as a nation. And I wouldn't agree maybe that it's a failed experiment, but we are in a very we are in a lot of turmoil as a culture right now. There's a very clear divide that affects a lot of the country. I wouldn't say that maybe that's a failed experiment, but I can understand at least somewhat. I have some of the same kind of sentiments just for what they're doing and not what we're doing.
I would argue that the very fact that Donald Trump is sitting in the White House is an example of how America is not a failed experiment, because our electoral process, as crazy as it is, has elected 47 people. Well, actually 46.
46, but like, well, and even 45 because you had Grover Cleveland.
Non-consecutive,
non-consecutive,
yes.
So really 45.
Right, and then I guess some weren't elected. They became. But the bottom line is we've elected over 250 years, we've elected 40-some-odd people to lead this country. And a lot of times you don't like what they're doing, and that's not the person you voted for. Maybe you are embarrassed by them. Okay, that's fine.
That happens.
That's fine. But to say that this is a failed experiment, when you look at what America has done in 250 years, when you look at the freedoms that, even though they are threatened on a daily basis, that we still exercise here. When you look at our country through the eyes of Freddie the German, who is over here for the World Cup and is giddy with delight every single day on his Twitter feed over the things that he is discovering about our country. I mean, yeah, it's for social media clicks, but it's fun. You're seeing the way, like the greatness of our country and the beauty of our country through fresh eyes. So no, we're not a failed experiment.
I do like that idea as well, is if you take this and you look at it from a scientific standpoint, even just because an experiment is not going the way that maybe you would want it to, you just adjust and you reapply and you keep going. So it's an ongoing experiment. And I think that does speak a lot to her mental state of how just entitled she is as an individual, that she thinks that things have to be her way or else it's the end of the world.
Okay, so who gets your vote worst of the week of these three candidates from the Media Research Center?
Smelly Pelly.
Yeah, that's my vote. Who's yours?
Scott.
Yeah, Scott Pelly. I think he's the worst of the week. So, but if you disagree, you can cast that vote. Just go to NewsTalkSTL on X, Twitter, and you can vote right there and see how it compares to everybody else's. All right, we are turning 5 years old.
Yes, we are.
Can you believe it?
Oh.
Now, those of us who were there at the very, very beginning, we believed we could do it, and I believe we'll be here in 5 more years and in 10 more years and 15 more years.
Only getting better.
Because we were told we were nuts for putting on a new local radio station 5 years ago. Now, maybe we are, but not because of that. But that's the two things can be true at the same time. But yeah, we're having a birthday party in Cottleville later this month. Details are all at newstalkstl.com. This is going to be so much fun. This is one of those, you know what? It's going to be outdoors. It's going to be food trucks. It's going to be, we're going to be there among other things going on, but we're going to have our party. So kind of like just join the picnic. Grab yourself some food at one of the food trucks. Grab yourself a drink. We're going to be underneath one of the stages. Retro Nerds are going to be playing. It's going to be just a big party. I'm going to be there. I know a lot of the other personalities are going to be there. You going to be there? Do you know if you're going to be there yet?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Got some other plans I got to kind of work through, but yeah.
But yeah, there'll be a lot of us there. So come on out, say hi, party. Going to be real informal. Going to be a blast. Retro Nerds, they played at our first birthday party.
They did.
Back in the day. So thank you to everybody who's part of the News Talk STL family. I'm talking to you, everybody who's watching and listening. You're the ones who really made this happen. So thank you so much. Details, once again, at newstalkstl.com.
There's another big landmark that we need to remember as well coming up here in just a couple of weeks. So let's look back at the foundational document of our nation, the Declaration of Independence, as we look forward to celebrating America's 250th birthday that's coming up at 7:35.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking afternoon highs a lot cooler than the last several days, back towards the mid to lower 80s. Going to be seeing mostly sunny skies, a beautiful day to get outdoors by Saturday. Could see some chances of some showers and storms, some of which could have the potential to become severe as we head towards the evening hours. Temperatures back towards the mid-80s across much of the area. Showers push out throughout the second half of Sunday, highs towards the mid to upper 70s. A little dry throughout the first half of next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scott.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL, JC's Sunday Showgram.
It was 19 years ago this week. We were all stunned by the final episode of The Sopranos. We'll look back with Journey's Neil Sean. We lost Tim Russert this week in 2008, so we'll pull some of his stuff out of the archives, and it's back to 1990 for Speed Golf at Tower T with Mike Bush, Doug Vaughn, and Jay Randolph. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com. Larry Connor's Commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's Commentary on News Talk STL.
It has to be stopped. It has to be. And it appears we're in the process of doing so. The U.S. is not the only nation that has this policy, but it is the only nation that is my concern. The USA, Canada, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, most Caribbean, Central American nations all have what is labeled unconditional jus soli. This means if a child is born in the USA and those nations, they automatically have citizenship in that nation. We know from past and recent events that the automatic U.S. citizenship is being abused. Russia, China, using birth tourism networks across Africa and Europe to get a tourist visa so their children can be born in our nation, making them a U.S. citizen. Now, this can be viewed as really not serious, but the fact is it can be and probably will be in the near future. It is estimated that annually more than 30,000 foreign children are born in our country. So the State Department is dismantling, flagging all suspected efforts. So something is being done. But is it too late?
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Spring weather has everyone sneezing, even inside their home or building. Instead of saying Gesundheit, call Wellington Environmental to perform air tests to determine if mold levels are too high. Gesundheit is the same as saying bless you after someone sneezes, the German word meaning wishing you good health. Wellington Environmental can perform air testing that is simple, fast, and can identify issues keeping you from having good health. Wellington does the same for hospitals and nursing homes for indoor concerns. Give them a call. It's simple. 314-644-4930. 644-4930. Tell Cindy, I need air sampling. They've seen it all. They can help you. Next time you hear Gesundheit, think Wellington. Wellington Environmental. Be well with Wellington.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney.
Alzheimer's is not just a memory problem, it's a brain resilience problem. This week we talk practical strategies to support brain function like diet, metabolic health, mitochondrial support, peptides, light therapy, sleep, and the habits that help the brain repair.
Simply Health with Dr. Brian Deloney. Saturdays at noon on News Talk STL. To find out more about Simply Health Integrated Medical, log on to simplyhealthintegrated.com.
Hey, this is Chris Arps. If you enjoy a good cigar like I do, check out Dorset Cigar at 11396 Dorset Road in Maryland Heights. They'll help you find the perfect smoke, and they have a fantastic premium selection. Mention promo code NewsTalkSTL for 7% off. Visit DorsetCigar.com.
Free speech is alive and well in America right here.
It's about time somebody stood up for true American values.
What this country needs is some backbone.
Finally, a president who wants to make real change.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where to be?
It's Flashback Friday.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the motion. I know you'll get to like it if you give it a chance now. Come on, baby, do the motion. My little baby says they can do it with me. It's easier than learning your ABC. So come on, do the lovely motion with me.
Larry Connors here. I begin my morning every day with the Mike Ferguson Morning Show while I'm doing my 10-mile run. Catch my program at 6. Now, back to Mike.
This one reached about at least a 7 on the Susie dance scale on this Flashback Friday.
You're not even doing it right, though. You gotta...
Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, I know. I'm just doing my own dance.
Yeah, Kylie Minogue.
I dance how I want to.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, this was actually a cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The original was
in the 60s.
60s, yeah.
Yeah. And great cover. And, of course, perfect for MTV because Kylie Minogue was just so darn cute.
I was going to say, and Mike keeps talking about Kylie Minogue.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway. She's a cute girl.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. So as we celebrate America's 250th birthday, here's a question. It's one thing to celebrate the milestone, which absolutely, we made it 250. There are countries of all different sorts of types of government and societies that don't make it.
Right.
To this level, to this this milestone. So why is it important to take another look at the document that started it all, being the Declaration of Independence? I mean, that's the date that we're celebrating, the one that is on the Declaration of Independence. And so we have somebody who wrote one of the books on that. We're going to be celebrating the American 250, why the Declaration of Independence still matters. The book, which we'll tell you about here in just a moment, it's called The Revolutionary Words That Forged America, The Definitive Guide to the Declaration of Independence, and it was written by Judge Michael Warren, who joins us right now. And Judge, first of all, welcome to the program. Thanks for being on the program. And we talk about America 250 and the milestone. You would think this is something that, regardless of politics and regardless of what we agree on and what we don't agree on, that all of that could be wiped away to say we've made it 250 years. What an accomplishment. We've changed the world. Obviously, that's not happening. A lot of tribalism, and we're getting away from the things that we want to celebrate, and we're sometimes using the milestone in partisan tribal ways. So how do we get back to focusing on what we should be celebrating and, dare I say, reflecting on as we look at the 250th birthday of America here in a couple weeks?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's a great question. That's what the entire book, The Revolutionary Words That Forged America, is all about. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That when any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to establish new government, laying its foundation such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Those words from the Declaration of Independence were revolutionary in 1776. They remain revolutionary today. And if we could just have our people understand how miraculous those words are, how truly revolutionary they are, and how we are a pivot point in history to embrace our founding first principles of the rule of law, unalienable rights, limited government, the social compact, equality, and the right to alter or abolish an oppressive government. If people would just understand that, our country would be so much more united than it is today, because that's the foundation of our freedoms and our charter of liberty and equality. And too often, as you've just said, there are now swaths of people that despise our country, don't understand our history, disdain our founding fathers, give them no credit whatsoever for being the revolutionaries that they are. That's a very poisonous and toxic environment. So my book is very supportive of the founding fathers, understanding their flaws, but putting them in a true historical context. And once you understand that, you can understand the miracle of America.
Good morning, Judge. This is Susie Moore. I feel like one of the things people forget is that by signing this declaration, was it 54? I can't remember the exact number of signatories. They were basically signing a death warrant for themselves. There was no guarantee that this was going to go the way that it ultimately did, and they took a humongous risk, and we forget about that now. I mean, we look back and they're just sort of these mythical characters, and in some people's minds, bad guys, but we forget the risks that they took.
No, that's 100% right. In fact, at the time when we declared independence, the fighting had already broken out, and we were facing the greatest empire the world had ever seen at the time. And these men and women put themselves at risk because there was a long train of abuses and usurpations referred to in the Declaration as the grievances, where the British were oppressing the people. And there were 28 grievances. Most people can pick one or two out. There's 28. The book goes through each one very thoroughly. And they put their lives on the line, literally, and some didn't make it, because they were fighting for freedom and liberty and equality and for the unalienable rights of all of us. And if you were a betting man back in 1776, you would be betting against the Founding Fathers. They pretty much knew that if they lost, they would be executed for treason. In fact, Lexington and Concord, the shot heard around the world, which sparked the fighting of the American Revolution, started because troops were trying to arrest John Adams and John Hancock so that they, right? So this was serious stuff, and it was our longest war up until Vietnam. Thousands of Americans lost their lives in fighting, as well as from disease and other ailments, and we just kind of gloss over that. Like you said, there's this myth, oh, we declared independence and we were free. That's not what happened at all. We had a very long war to be able to preserve our freedoms and liberties.
All right, the book is called The Revolutionary Words That Forged America, the Definitive Guide to the Declaration of Independence, and it was written by Judge Michael Warren, who joins us right now. Okay, so there's obviously a time of celebration, marking the milestone, the birthday, but I would argue that there's also should be some sort of collective reflection as well. How should we take the Declaration of Independence and apply the principles now, or at least reevaluate now? Because a lot of people, I think, just don't understand those historic documents. And a lot of people say, well, that's just in the history. That's the history books. They don't matter today. Why would those words still matter today?
Yeah, they could not be more wrong. These are the foundations of our freedoms and equality. And if you don't understand where your rights come from, so I'll take one example, unalienable rights. Most people think, I think quite frankly, that they get their rights from government. You can do what you want as long as the government says it's okay. That's 100% wrong. Our rights come from our Creator, God, nature, nature's law. We're born with these rights. Government is formed not to give us what privileges, but to secure our unalienable rights. That's the whole purpose of government. And if we begin with that perspective, then we look at the world in an entirely different way. That we are not servants of the government. The government is supposed to serve us. We believe in limited government. That government should only have the powers it needs to protect our rights. Well, if you view the world from that perspective, as opposed to the government should be righting every wrong in the world, that it's all powerful, all seeing, you have an entirely different perspective. And if you believe the government should be unlimited, then you have authoritarianism, you have communism, you have genocide, mass slaughter, in pursuit of what people call virtue. Look at the French Revolution, Nazi Germany, Soviet Union. People that thought they were doing the right thing and in the process slaughtered millions of people. If you believe the purpose of government is to protect your rights and to let you live your life to the fullest and fulfill your destiny, you're going to have an entirely different kind of approach to how we govern. And so everything that we do in connection with public policy should be viewed through the prism of the Declaration of Independence and our founding first principles. And we'd have a much less toxic political environment, a much more unified country, and I think a more just and free society.
Judge, you literally wrote the book on it, so you know the ins and outs. But I know you referenced this. There's 28 grievances listed in the Declaration of Independence. What is one that you think people would be most surprised to realize is in there?
The most surprising one is actually the first one, and it is it calls out the king for not assenting or agreeing to certain legislation. So the way the colonies worked is there were colonial legislatures, but the laws couldn't be enacted and implemented unless the king approved them. So here's one that just blows people's minds. Thomas Jefferson writes this declaration and includes this grievance. He's, of course, a slaveholder. Virginia and a couple of other colonies were trying to stop the slave trade. They thought it was an abhorrent practice. Even though they had slavery, they wanted to stop the slave trade, so they were trying to tax it. So they passed these laws to kill the slave trade, and the king says, no, I like the slave trade. So we condemn the king for allowing the slave trade to continue, written by the hand of the slave owner Thomas Jefferson, right? So that's something that nobody understands. You will if you read my book.
All right, which we have put the link up on our social media as well, written by Judge Warren. All right, just got a minute or so left here, Judge. Appreciate you being on the program here. Is this just a history book, or is there something you want readers to take from it and do with the book?
So that's a great question. The end of the book is is policies about how we can bring back and renew our founding first principles and live up to the promise of the Declaration. One is through education reform, and the book goes through K through 12 and college and actually military training, anywhere where people are being educated. The second is holiday reform, and that is renewing our civic calendar. And in fact, my daughter and I started a new celebration for America called Patriot Week. It goes from September 11th to September 17th, and it renews the spirit of America by celebrating our founding first principles, key documents and speeches, founding fathers, and other great patriots. So you can check that out at patriotweek.org. And we have a podcast and a TV show, video series, and we're sending reenactors into schools. We've been recognized by the U.S. Senate 7 years going unanimously in various states. I'd love to bring it to your state. And so, no, there's concrete things in the book that people can take away and change our society for the better.
All right, Judge Michael Warren, the book is The Revolutionary Words That Forged America, the definitive guide to the Declaration of Independence. Judge, I've enjoyed it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America.
Amen. All right. Well, just as the U.S. is getting ready to celebrate its 250th birthday, like we mentioned, we're getting ready to celebrate our 5th birthday here at News Talk STL. On Friday, June 26th, we're going to be celebrating 5 years on the air, and we want to celebrate with you at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville in St. Charles County. The outdoor party starts at 7 when Jason Nelson and the Retro Nerds take the big stage, a full evening of one of the best 80s tribute bands in St. Louis. We'll be under the pavilion up near the stage, so come by and say hi to everybody. Enjoy the evening under the stars with food trucks, great music, and an all-ages fun night. 7 to 10, Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville.
It's a good thing that it's all ages because when we go party in Cottleville, some of us become like 14 again.
Yeah, good point.
Hi, this is St. Louis County Councilman Mark Harder reminding you to check out my new show this weekend.
The St. Louis County Insider with Councilman Mark Harder.
That's me. Every Sunday evening at 5, we will explore with you behind-the-scenes stories and information that you won't hear anywhere else. Plus, we talk to decision makers and influencers that have impact on what's going on in St. Louis County and beyond.
The St. Louis County Insider with Councilman Mark Harder.
I'll talk to you Sunday night at 5, only on News Talk STL.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, Dad, what causes drains to clog?
Grease, hair, soap scum, and tree roots.
Tree roots?
This town has old pipes and big trees. They find each other.
They grow inside pipes?
They bust into pipes.
Whoa.
Once they're in, the water stops flowing.
Can we fix it?
The big green grasser machine can fix any clog.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
When the storm hits and a tree comes down, you need someone you can trust right now. OLI Outdoor Services in Godfrey is on call 24/7 for emergency tree removal, trimming, stump grinding, and land clearing. Serving Illinois and Missouri with licensed, insured professionals and over 200 years of combined experience. Tree removal starting at just $2.99. Free estimates, plus financing. Visit OLIOutdoorServices.com or call 1-888-5-SAWING.
Liberian girl, you came and you changed my world. A love so brand new. Liberian girl, you came and you changed me, girl. A feeling so true. Liberian girl, you know that you came and you changed my world.
Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
Going with a deep cut there.
A Bella cut.
Who requested that?
Bella, you're
Oh,
our
she's sitting right here,
There
too.
she is.
If you're watching on video, there she is.
I thought that was a gremlin that gives us so many problems. Okay. I was
No,
spared from the
she's
trap.
the opposite of a troublemaker.
Did you notice on like the early Michael Jackson songs on that, like the harmony parts on that?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm remembering right, that was actually him recording the harmony parts to support his own
Yes.
lead vocals on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that was like almost
Layers
all-
of Michael vocals.
He just did layers with like
Mhm.
just slightly different, octaves and tones, and he created the harmony by himself.
I'm not sure I've heard this song before, to be honest.
I've heard it, but it's a deep cut. I don't think
now
they
I'm looking up where Liberia
They
is.
never put it. They never put it on the radio or anything like that. But it was just like a deep cut off the. Oh gosh, which album was that? That wasn't.
It's bad.
Is it off of Bad?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
looking at the album on the
Oh,
screen.
okay, yeah.
That wasn't me running trivia.
I couldn't remember whether that was Thriller or Bad or was self-titled early. I couldn't remember which one that was. But yeah, that was a deep cut song.
Yes,
All
it
right,
was.
on this Flashback Friday, and the theme, remember, is the feel-good, like guilty pleasure songs.
Yeah.
This one's definitely feel good.
It does have a good feel to it. I like it.
Kind of mellow.
Good choice, Bella.
There it is. All right, let's see here. What we got going on here? Okay, stop me if you've heard this one before. We're being told the war against Iran it's over.
Stop, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Maybe this time is true. We'll see. And Cardinals start a new series tonight. They are hoping to keep that momentum going. It is 7:53. Let's do another news dump.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by STL Fenceworks.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
All right, it's the amusement park ride that lasted almost 3 hours. Rescue crews were called to the Six Flags, basically right in the middle of the park, the Sky Screamer, when the ride malfunctioned, stranding 4 people 120 feet in the air. The Sky Screamer broke down around 5:30 yesterday afternoon with 2 adults and 2 teenagers. This was the family, parents and their kids, still on it. They finally got them back on the ground almost 3 hours later. Nobody was hurt.
3-hour tour.
That's right, a 3-hour tour from 120 feet in the air.
Yikes.
Well, when you first brought up this headline, I went to go check out the video. I was expecting them to be terrified and to be stuck there. They just kind of look bored.
Oh,
yeah. They're
Can
bored.
you imagine being stuck in a chair anywhere for 3 hours, much less up in the air where you can't even, get DoorDash to bring you something?
It'd be a weird DoorDash order.
Yeah.
I would be worried about having to go to the bathroom.
So they have emergency equipment at Six Flags, but this was apparently either too high up or too weird of an angle. That's why they ended up calling in the fire departments. There were more than one.
Yeah, because there's nothing like to brace a ladder against.
Right.
These
It's a
swings are just.
Yes, it's like a special crane you have to use.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, geez. All right.
No, thank you.
All right, the man accused of shooting 2 Minnesota state lawmakers and their spouses, killing Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, switched his plea to guilty on Thursday. U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota, his name is Daniel Rosen, explains why prosecutors decided to take the death penalty off the table and accept that plea deal.
When you have a defendant that is prepared to plead guilty, take consecutive life terms plus, to ensure that he never sees freedom again in his entire life, that was an opportunity that we just could not pass up.
All right, the shooter also faces several state charges, so convictions are still
He'll spend
forthcoming.
his life in jail.
Yeah, he's not getting out.
I wonder whatever happened with his family. Remember there was the weirdness about he had 5 kids and his wife, and I just remember following very closely that whole weekend, the manhunt for him. It was just so crazy.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
Yeah, it really was, and just tragic. All right, kind of a traffic alert here. Part of Route 94 is going to be closed starting at 7 p.m. tonight. Lanes are going to be closed between the westbound Route 370 exit ramp and the eastbound 370 exit ramp through Sunday. Then they're going to do the same thing next weekend as well. That is to allow MoDOT to work on the Discovery Bridge. So on 370, though, you're good to go. 2 lanes in each direction on 370 are going to remain open. It's just the Route 94 lanes that are going to be shut down for all of that. Okay, President Trump speaking to reporters in the Oval Office on Thursday, announcing that the U.S. and Iran have come to what he's calling a great settlement, a deal to end the war in Iran, and he says it's being finalized.
They will not only they will not purchase, develop in any way, shape, or form a nuclear weapon. They will not have a nuclear weapon.
All right, the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is going to be lifted when the documents are signed this weekend, according to the president. He's going to be sending Vice President J.D. Vance over to the document signing, finality of it, if it actually happens. I'm kind of okay. Let's see.
I'll believe it.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'll be happy for it, but
Right.
I want to see what the actual deal is, and I want to see it actually done, and then I want to see the Iranians stick to it.
Yeah. I'm not saying, hey, we've heard this before, but
a girl can dream.
That's right. All right. You know what? Your kiddo may love that go-kart, but according to O'Fallon, Missouri city officials, keep it on your own property.
It's a no-kart.
That's right. That's the word from the city council. On Thursday, they approved a new ordinance that bans mini bikes and go-karts and powered skateboards and motorized scooters from city streets and parks and sidewalks. Okay, this does not affect e-bikes, though. That's treated like any other bike. So even though it's motorized, that is not affected by this. City officials say they're going to focus on educating people about the new rules at first instead of just writing tickets.
Oh, that's nice.
Can you imagine, like, you've seen the comedy videos, like some little, 4-year-old in his toy cars thing on the side of the road being pulled over by a police officer? Like, can I see your registration and your insurance, please?
License and insurance, please.
Yeah, and he's going to show him, like, my sippy cup. That's not qualified.
That's why you shouldn't be out on the road,
right.
sir.
You've been drinking and driving.
Exactly.
We don't do that under Missouri law. All right. Cardinals win the series, but they fall short of the sweep on Thursday. The Mets won the last game of that series. Final score 5-4. Redbirds' road trip continues tonight in Minnesota. First pitch is at 7:10. That game's going to be on broadcast. It's going to be on Channel 4 tonight.
With all of the celebrations, anniversaries, and holidays coming up over the next few months, where are you going to go to get that special something for the special people in your life? Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, of course. Newsteaders Fine Jewelers found 24/7 at wowdiamonds.com. Tim Jones here to tell you all about Newsteaders Fine Jewelers. Richard Newsteader and his team serving our region since 1961 with awesome, honest jewelry solutions. They've got everything from diamonds to wedding engagement rings, hand-engraved items, pendants, earrings, and so much more. You can find them 24/7, wowdiamonds.com. That's Newsteaders Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Dr. Michael Lewis, West Point grad, physician, and retired Army colonel, is considered the world's leading expert on the use of omega-3s in brain health. He's also the author of When Brains Collide. Dr. Lewis, a lot of people take fish oil supplements, but how do you know they're working if you're not testing?
Elizabeth, I've come across the biggest breakthrough in my 30-plus years of medicine. What if you could test yourself at home to see if your fish oil supplements are actually working? And then have the right product, a combination of fish oil and olive oil, a perfect Mediterranean diet in a bottle delivered right to your doorstep. This is the answer to the American ultra-processed food diet. Email me at test@brainhealtheducation.org. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
Email Dr. Lewis today at test@brainhealtheducation.org and take the first step toward a healthier brain. Your future self will thank you. That's test@brainhealtheducation.org.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street futures have been flying high this morning. The stock market encouraged by President Trump's declaration of a pending deal with Iran.
The president has said a deal would be done quickly before. Why is this different?
Because they've taken a pounding. They've taken a pounding like very few people could take.
The president talked about the high price of oil and gas because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
When oil comes down, everything else comes down. And most importantly, we have a deal that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, which was the whole purpose of what we had to go through to get this.
He believes Iran's supreme leader has signed off on a deal. Ed Donahue, Washington.
And it will be a big weekend for the Trump presidency. Beyond the possible Iran deal, the World Cup returns to the U.S. On Sunday, Mr. Trump's 80th birthday, he will preside over a UFC fight night at the White House. Forecasters are warning of the possibility of more severe weather today across a large swath of the country, and that includes in the hard-hit Midwest.
Twisters have pounded communities near Chicago, leveling homes and ripping down power poles. Storms have also grounded flights and knocked out power for hundreds of thousands across the Midwest and Northeast. A large funnel cloud swept through Merrillville, Illinois, located about 33 miles southeast of Chicago.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart says no immediate reports of fatalities or life-threatening injuries from those storms. The Trump Kennedy Center Board is mounting a last-minute bid to keep the president's name on the performing arts landmark in Washington. The board is seeking a stay of a judge's ruling that Mr. Trump's name must be removed today. And on Wall Street, the Dow futures are up 260 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 10, and the S&P futures are 19 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Healthcare has become frustrating, expensive, and overwhelming. But you can stop playing by those rules. There's a better way. It's called Crowd Health, and it's changing how people pay for healthcare. Crowd Health is a community where members, the crowd, come together to help fund each other's medical expenses. Instead of paying huge monthly insurance premiums, you pay a simple membership fee plus a modest contribution to another member's medical bill. When you get hit with a big bill, the crowd steps in to help you fund it. Plus, you get the support and tools you need to navigate your health event. Why keep overpaying? Cut out the middleman, lower your monthly costs, and avoid the endless billing headaches. Are you ready for a smarter option? Go to joincrowdhealth.com. Right now, you can get started for just $99 per month for your first 3 months when you use code BREAKFREE at joincrowdhealth.com. Crowd Health isn't insurance. Opt the system and break free.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking afternoon highs a lot cooler than the last several days, back towards the mid to lower 80s. Going to be seeing mostly sunny skies. A beautiful day to get outdoors by Saturday. Could see some chances of some showers and storms, some of which could have the potential to become severe as we head towards the evening hours. Temperatures back towards the mid-80s across much of the area. Showers push out throughout the second half of Sunday. Highs towards the mid to upper 70s. Will dry throughout the first half of next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Shan Scotch.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Let's get real. Here's the truth about eliminating Missouri's income tax.
I'm here with State Representative Bishop Davidson. And Bishop, you've heard the complaints about the proposal. Here's your colleague, Representative Ashley Awney.
Frankly, the only thing that this resolution does is increase sales taxes.
So what does this do and what does it not do if we say yes?
The first part of this constitutional amendment is a constitutional shall. It's a guarantee to the people in Missouri that if they vote for this, that their legislature will enact and shall enact legislation to eliminate income taxes using natural economic growth over time. That means when the economy grows, instead of it going back into the coffers of the state, it goes into the pockets of Missourians. The second part is a constitutional may. It allows the legislature to have a conversation around sales taxes, but only so that they can eliminate income taxes faster and reduce local tax rates like personal property tax and real property.
Get the facts at afpmissouri.com. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
The House has rejected a last-ditch FISA extension. We'll ask Congressman Dr. Bob Onder if this is dangerous and why the Dems are happy about it at 420.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Is there anything in your life that is not trauma Olympics?
Susie Moore.
Get out of here and stop playing victim.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
There's no crying in baseball.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, apartments, affordable homes, taxes. Listen, there's a lot of issues happening. Data centers, whoever's leading St. Charles County after the next election, going to be taking on some really big challenges. And one of the things that I noticed at our debate a week and a half ago or so is that it's not even just about the issues themselves. It's about what role does the county government have in St. Charles, because that's one of the areas where you really had some differences of opinion among the three contenders.
Yeah, I think we oftentimes look at this in the perspective of just the candidate, but not in the actual role and the way that the puzzle piece fits, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. For instance, all three candidates said, "Yeah, we need to reform some taxes. We need to cut some taxes." Everybody is on board with that. Now they've got different ways of doing it, but then a lot of it comes down to how is the county government going to affect everybody, even in the cities. So Jason Law, one of those candidates. You saw him at the debate. If you want to watch that debate, that's up on our social media right now as well, and he joins us right now. Jason, good to chat with you here. So let me start. I want to get into some of the specific issues, which we've talked about before, but that's one of the things that struck me in the differences between you and what Bill Eigel and what Steve Ellman are looking at is kind of the role of government moving forward as to whether or not the county government is going to be, putting pressure and directing municipalities, or whether it's going to be that more regional coalition, type of building thing, or whether it's going to be, just sort of that administrative thing. So there were different takes on that in the coming years, because obviously the issues are going to be very, very different from now to whenever. It's going to be a question of what should the county government be and what role should it have and how much authority should it have. How do you view that? Because that dictates how you would approach the issues themselves.
Mike, thanks for having me on this morning. And that's a great question. And throughout my career in law enforcement for 30 years and being a lieutenant colonel, you have to learn to work with everybody. And I'll work with the mayors. But what I'll also do, like I did with my moratorium in 2021 for banning apartments in Lake St. Louis, is work with great candidates throughout St. Charles County to help move where we need to go. And just like the moratorium on apartments, I helped Keith Weideman get elected in Dardenne Prairie. I helped Brian McKinney in Lake St. Louis. I helped several candidates in O'Fallon. And in Lake St. Louis, they still have low density requirements, so no apartment proposals have been passed since I put that into action in 2021. Keith Weideman, his first action was doing a 12-month moratorium on apartment buildings, and you're going to see one come up very soon in O'Fallon. And that's what leadership is. It's working with people to get things done for the people.
If there is a market demand for the apartments, because we didn't used to in this country have a problem with, more dense housing and apartments and condos and things like that. If there's a demand for it and people want to pay for it, what role does government have in saying, no, we're going to have more of this master plan type thing versus this is what the market is demanding right now? Why should we sort of more carefully manage that?
Well, we've had an explosion since 2010 with an apartment in Lake St. Louis, and it's overrunning our resources. You look at Green Tree Elementary School in Lake St. Louis. They started putting up apartments all around there, and then the school was getting overloaded. Our police, fire, all those critical services were starting to be overrun. We need to make sure those apartments saturate in and our resources are restored, and then you can change the zoning back for apartments at a later date. But right now, we don't need those.
All right, we're visiting with Jason Law, candidate for St. Charles County Executive. All right, let's dig into some of the areas that you all debated at Lindenwood University about a week and a half ago. Everybody agrees there needs to be some sort of tax reform and tax reduction. Where should that burden be targeted first? What should be reformed first? What needs to be reduced, and how do we do it?
So personal property tax is definitely the first one that needs to go. And my plan would be more making sure that we cut the taxes in a responsible way where we're not cutting resources at all. And by doing that, first I would do residential personal property tax. Then I would go to, and the first step would be personal property tax for residents. Second step would be small business. And third step would be corporate.
And the county slice of the entire property tax bill isn't that much percentage-wise. I mean, I would think the schools are the bulk of it and some of the others are the bulk of it. So what could the county actually save people by reducing that? And is it a matter of cutting spending from something, or is it a matter of trying to make up for it in another way of revenue?
Well, I think there's enough money already coming into all the governments to be able to do this without cutting resources. For example, the use tax, the park tax, it's ballooned to $60 million. I mean, I love parks. We have a beautiful park system, but it needs to be cut. You could cut $30 million out of that to go directly to personal property tax. Then you could sell the family arena, and you could sell the horse barn, and with those operational costs is another $15 million. That now we just cut $45 million in operating expenses to help give the citizens of St. Charles County a personal property tax cut.
And there was some disagreement on, for instance, the family arena in particular. So fiscally and financially, is this a matter of it being a money loser or just a liability? Or is it a matter of role of government? It's not the government's job to be in your entertainment business. What's the impetus between wanting to sell that, and what kind of deal do you think the county could get for it?
We need to stop the bleeding. We're probably going to lose money on the sale of these two, but they need to go to a private entity that can run them better. I don't mean selling the horse barn and putting up apartments. Heck, you can't do it in Lake St. Louis anyway. And I don't mean doing that to the family arena as well, but we take those capital sales and we put that into infrastructure or back to the people of St. Charles County. And then those operational costs should go to cutting taxes. And no, government has no responsibility to be in the entertainment business. I mean, you look at the factory in St. Louis County in Chesterfield. It's booming. What we've done at the Family Arena is invested over $100 million with $60 million in revenue. That's a $40 million loss. We can't do that anymore. We need the private sector to come in and make those viable entertainment areas.
Okay, we're going to give out the website and social media here in just a couple of minutes as well. We're visiting with Jason Law. Obviously, one of the hot topics, people take this very emotionally, of the whole data center thing. Some communities are saying, hey, bring them here. We'll take the revenue. We'll work with whoever's putting them up. Obviously, you get what's happening in Lincoln County and Warren County and Jefferson County with Festus. What should the county plan for or allow when it comes to data centers? Is this something, I mean, they got to go somewhere, but what is it that the county should approach this with, with as far as, regulations or concerns or demands or things like that? Do you support allowing them in at some point? And if so, under what conditions?
Right now, we need to make sure, because one, affordability. The cost of energy is rising, and data centers make energy rise. So we need to make sure that they pay for their own electric. I'm a big supporter of a clean environment. I grew up in North St. Louis County. I lived on Coldwater Creek. I'm a cancer survivor. There's no way in heck I would allow a data center in St. Charles County unless we knew for 100% that it's not going to hurt the environment or make people sick for our kids and grandkids. And then on top of that, we need to make sure that we put those in not in the backyards of people. So until we can figure all those things out, I'm not for them, but not forever. We just need to make sure we're making our citizens safe and we're not hurting their affordability issues.
And obviously the county is going to have complete control over that from an unincorporated area, but what influence, if any, should the county have in the municipalities who say, no, we'll take one here. It's in the county, but it's in a municipality if one of the cities decides that they want this. Is there anything that a county government under a Jason Law executive leadership would do to work with it or try to prevent that?
Well, first, St. Charles County Executive is the highest office in St. Charles County for local government. They need to work with those mayors to make sure they understand what's going on. Could a city possibly do that? They could, but under my leadership, it would be very difficult for them to do that. Also, you need to make sure that you're leading with good candidates, like I said before, just like with the apartments, making sure we get good candidates in that care about the people of St. Charles County and not themselves and not trying to get to another political government job. I want to do this job. I put in for it first. The other two, one unretired. The other one ran for governor, ran for the head of the Republican Party, was a two-time state senator. I mean, these career politicians need to get out of the way and let us govern the people for the people.
All right, so Jason Law, let's go ahead and give out the website. I think we've already tagged you on our social media already here, so people can find that here. What's next in your campaign, and how do people get in touch?
Go to lawforstcharlescounty.com, also sellthebarn.com. You can find me on Facebook. This is an important race, how we're going to lead St. Charles County for the next 4 to 8 years. This is a very important race, and I'd love to earn your respect.
All right, Jason, good chat with you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we got a birthday party coming up. I am talking about News Talk STL turning 5 years old. We're this many years old now. All right, it's happening June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden. The Retro Nerds, who played at our first birthday party.
Oh, they're good.
4 years ago. They're a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. We were up on the stage at what used to be Diamond Music Hall, and we're up there on the stage. This guy walks up with these fake glasses and with the tape in the middle and just starts sticking them on our heads. And so we're up on stage doing that. There's pictures somewhere on our website of that. But listen, it's a free thing. Come on out. If you want to get some food, you can buy some food from food trucks and drinks and stuff like that. Going to happen from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Friday night, June 26th. Details are at newstalkstl.com. Frankie Martin's Garden is the place for and about community in Cottleville. We're going to be there, so check it out. You can go right to Frankie Martin's website there and come party with us. Let's have some food. Let's have some drinks. Let's have a good time.
It's Friday!
This is Kurt Walker, St. Charles County Director of Elections, inviting you to our Sundays on Sunday, family-friendly open house. Stop by for a behind-the-scene look at how your elections are run. Kids can vote at a mock polling place using a real ballot. You can meet candidates appearing on the August primary ballot, and everyone can enjoy free ice cream. The County Pet Adoption Center will also be on site with dogs looking for new homes. Join us Sunday, June 14th from 2 to 5 p.m. Details at sccmo.org/elections.
This year, America turns 250, and NewsTalk STL is celebrating our nation's semi-quincentennial all year long. NewsTalkSTL, #1 for live and local Soros-free talk, with proud supporters of our 250th birthday celebration. Trolley Stop Bakery, DG Firearms, and The Yard Guy. 250 years strong, and we're just getting started. 101.9 and 94.1 NewsTalk STL.
Looking for unbelievable deals? Stop by Overstock Outlet in Lake St. Louis or Warrenton. Open 7 days a week. Discover big savings on a huge variety of merchandise with no hassle. Just great prices. Visit us in Lake St. Louis on Highway N or in Warrenton on Boones Lake. Check out our Facebook page at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis. Or go online to overstockoutletstl.com. Unbeatable value, friendly service, and you never know what we'll have at Overstock Outlet.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo, and it's tough to pick, but my favorite sandwich at Capriotti's is the cheesesteak with a side of Cap's awesome fries. Visit Capriotti's now at 2 locations on Manchester at McKnight and Rock Hill, and now in Creve Coeur on Olive, just 1 mile west of 270.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
Love the all-new app.
And listen anytime, anywhere. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this dysfunctional radio station. It's The Right Mind Show with me, Todd Showalter, at 5 on Saturday. And, you know, speaking of dysfunctional, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Yep, full-on guilty pleasure here. Good choice. Pointer Sisters.
I don't think I've ever heard this one before.
I loved this song back in the day.
This seems like one of those, what's that weird dance where you're like moving your legs up and down in place?
That was like the flash dance.
Yes, it seems like one of those flash dance type songs.
Yeah, no, I love this song. This was, and I still do this song. This song holds up. I don't know that the lyrics mean a darn thing, but it's just a fun song.
Only we had Susie here to groove out to it.
Yeah, this would be high on the Susie dance scale.
Do you think
I'm pretty sure
it would break a 7?
Yeah, I think it would.
Wow.
I think it would. Yeah, this is kind of a classic one. And we need more piano in rock songs and pop songs.
Whatever happened to piano and rock?
They went the way of horn sections.
Well, I mean, ska kind of put the nail in the coffin on that.
Yeah.
But where did the actual like rock and roll style piano go?
You know what? When Billy Joel stopped making rock records, it kind of went away, and Jackson Browne and all the others, the classic guys that used to use a bunch of piano work in there. All right. I got a feeling the big stories are going to follow into the weekend. A lot of times, like, things kind of ramped in over the weekend with what's happening in Iran and other things happening with stuff in Washington, D.C., even Jefferson City, man. There's a lot going on here. I think we're going to have a lot more news over the weekend, but it has been an intense week of news. So let's do a quick flashback, if you will, to how the news sounded here on News Talk STL over the last week.
I hope that cooler heads prevail. I hope somebody steps forward in Iran that has the power to actually do a deal and stop this war.
We'll give the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol, and that's what they are. They're heroes for what they have to go through to keep us safe, the support and resources they need to defend our borders, protect our homeland, and to keep America safe.
Immigration enforcement in this country should be fair, it should be just, and it should be humane. That's not what is going on right now as it relates to Donald Trump's violent mass deportation machine.
Mr. President, I'm asking you directly,
Waive the non-disclosure agreements that still bind these patriots.
The bill, which is on its way to Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul for her signature, would remove the word mother from all New York statutes and replace it with, quote, gestating parent.
Ultimately, what we do tonight are going to advance our military interests and also enhance our diplomatic position. Because again, President Trump, he's willing to go back and fight as necessary.
But I'd much rather come to settlements and stop the selling at this point than sort of, fight it out in litigation for a couple of years and impose big fines. So today's another big win for those who care about the health, safety, and wellness of Missourians.
That one struck to left field, and what a dive! Oh, what a great
Eric
play!
Schmidt, amazing catch down the left field line.
The Redbirds would be proud of a play like that.
And you knew, we predicted it. Senator Schmidt, Erica, he made the rounds on some of the TV shows, which he's a popular guest for a lot of those anyway. But Susie and I, of course, we've both known Eric for a long time, since before he was in the Senate. We're like, you know what? He's not putting makeup over that gash on the nose. He's wearing that with a badge of honor, and that's exactly what he was doing.
Well, I still can't get over the whole gestating person.
I know,
one,
God.
it sounds like festering. It makes me think of something really gross. Then two, it sounds like a slur. Like, okay, gestator.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, you would think the fringe left at some point would go, hey, they think we cray-cray. Maybe we should stop being cray-cray. And even some Democrats who I just disagree with on some issues, but I'd call them more center-left, they're looking around going, guys, you're killing us over here by being stupid.
If only I had a brain.
Yeah. And the thing is that passed with a majority in both the Assembly and the Senate in the state of New York. Kathy Hochul was asked about it. She goes, I haven't really looked at it, which is nonsense. They know what's going on in there. So now she's in a position, do I sign something insane into law, knowing that not only are you going to get a whole bunch of terrible press through the rest of the country, which she probably doesn't care about, but if you've got aspirations for some higher office, this is one of the ads that's written in the general election. And so this will haunt you. So even as far left as she is, she's going to have to think long and hard before signing something that stupid.
And again, it's just bizarre that the goal, I guess, is to be more inclusive of people, but you came up with a terminology for people that just sounds worse.
Yeah.
Am I just too much of a non-gestator that I don't?
You are. You check your non-gestation whatever.
Go gestate in the corner. I got it.
Yeah, that's right. Just don't make a mess, though. Okay? All right.
It just feels wrong.
8:24 right now. We had a weird batch, once again, of the worst media takes in the country, in the mainstream media this week. Our friends at Media Research Center, every week they do this. They say, what are the worst ones? So you can cast your vote. We've already retweeted the poll, so you can go to NewsTalkSTL's account on X and see the poll, vote there, and then just go back and check who won. They'll do that on Monday. But we got some real losers trying to be the winner this week when it comes to the worst of the week. Here's MRC.
I am conflicted about this country because I feel that it is, at this point, a failed experiment.
Or maybe Sunny co-hosting a show is the failed experiment. But will she be the worst media quote of the week? Here's our contenders. Option number 1, Scott Pelley claims he's been in combat for his country.
I've never worn the uniform, but I've been in combat for this country. In Afghanistan, I'm not aware that the President of the United States has ever done any of those things for his country.
Option number 2, Jim Acosta says changing up 60 Minutes is un-American and hurts the country.
Barry Weiss, you are hurting this country when you try to tear down an institution like 60 Minutes.
And option number 3, The View's Sunny Hostin claims America is a failed experiment.
I'm embarrassed by the criminal felon president that is in the Oval Office that has a UFC cage. I am conflicted about this country because I feel that it is, at this point, a failed experiment.
And now it's time for you to participate in our experiment and vote for the worst. This poll is funded by our good friend James Jamiro. And be sure to check out Newsbusters on Monday, and you'll find out which member of the media snagged the title for the MRC's Worst Media Quote of the Week.
it's almost cheating to have somebody from The View on because that they're going to say something insane and stupid every week.
It's like the free space in bingo.
Yeah. Okay, so Sunny Hosted, that's just kind of par for the course for her. And so let's look at Jim Acosta and Scott Pelley. My vote for worst would be Scott Pelley on this one, personally. The idea that I've never worn a uniform, but I've been in combat for this country. No, you weren't. I mean, at most you were embedded with some troops and protected by them. Not to say that there isn't some danger if you go with a full embed, but I don't even know if he was that. But to say that I was in combat for the country, okay, dude, go talk to some guy who lost a leg from an IED, in Afghanistan or in wherever, or go talk to one of the guys who are still around from, Vietnam or something like that, and go tell them, well, I fought for the country too. Go have that conversation with them, Scott, and see what they think of your criticizing somebody because they weren't in combat for the country like you were when you were taking pictures and taking notes.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect what war journalists do, going and doing
sure,
this,
and it is dangerous.
But the way that he made it sound was like he was sneaking past enemy lines, dodging fire to go and get intel to bring it back or to like relay messages or something.
They were about to hit our tank, and then they saw that I had a journal, and they're like, no.
And by comparison, because he wanted to make that a jab at President Trump was literally shot and had people killed by him by a gunman. I mean, it's not the same
not by
thing
him, but
well, yeah, not by. No, but the Butler situation.
Yeah, Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, and that's very tragic, and that's very much. It's not the same thing as wartime combat, but he got shot. I mean, a bullet hit the president.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say he probably has as much of an understanding as Pelley does.
Yeah. So Scott Pelley, which was frustrating because I really think Scott Pelley is a highly intelligent person who has just decided to abandon any sort of principles or ethics. He could be an excellent journalist. He just chooses not to be. Acosta's just Acosta. That's just a stupid thing to say. You're bringing back some realm of journalistic standards, therefore you're tearing down this institution. No, Barry Weiss is trying to rebuild the institution.
I mean, was 60 Minutes around when the Founding Fathers were planning the revolution? Is that how ingrained 60 Minutes is into American culture?
Well, it certainly was definitely, something.
It's the Federalist Papers and 60 Minutes, right?
But it was at one point. It was as close to a media institution as you would get. It was a part of conversation. You always talked the next day at the water cooler what was on 60 Minutes. So it was there, but it's not that anymore. And Barry Weiss is saying, well, let's bring it back. And here's the thing. I don't remember who pointed this out. I can't take credit for it. But since Barry Weiss has been trying to bring back those ethics and put some guardrails on, 60 Minutes ratings have actually been up.
Ooh.
And their views have actually been up.
Interesting.
So they're trying to win back people by saying, no, we're actually going to do news and we're actually going to do some journalism. So Jim Acosta just, again, he's like, don't you know who I am? Yeah, we're trying to forget you.
And that's a great point. Now, 60 Minutes, they were the ones that won the best editing for the Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah.
That seems a little bit more
There's a
un-American
plaque somewhere that they were given.
Oh.
But yeah, my vote's for Scott Pelley.
I agree entirely. But maybe you disagree with us. You might want to go back and re-listen to what was just said by these knuckleheads. That's why we upload everything to the podcast. So that way you can pause, rewind, fast forward, play at your leisure. Look up Mike Ferguson in the Morning on your favorite podcasting outlets, Spotify, Omni, Apple, and I'm sure there's some others out there. But look up Mike Ferguson in the Morning, subscribe, and you can bring us with you wherever you are.
We shouldn't even think about tomorrow. Sweet memories will last a long, long time. We'll have a good time, baby, don't you worry. And if we're still playing around, boy, that's just fine. Let's get it.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning.
Someone in that control room is out of control.
On Newstalk STL. From the Newstalk STL Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Shane Scotch with your first alert forecast. We're going to be tracking afternoon highs a lot cooler than the last several days, back towards the mid to lower 80s. Going to be seeing mostly sunny skies. A beautiful day to get outdoors by Saturday. Could see some chances of some showers and storms, some of which could have the potential to become severe as we head towards the evening hours. Temperatures back towards the mid-80s across much of the area. Showers push out throughout the second half of Sunday. Highs towards the mid to upper 70s. Will dry throughout the first half of next week. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chance Scott.
Fox News commentary with Jimmy Fallon next.
When disasters hit and cell networks fail, Rapid Radios keeps you connected. Instant push-to-talk with coast-to-coast range. No contracts, no monthly bills. Trusted by law enforcement, government agencies, and over 500,000 users. Always ready when your phone isn't. Because in an emergency, seconds matter, and reliability isn't optional. Go to rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for 5% off and free shipping from Michigan. Rapid Radios. Communication redefined.
Jimmy Fallon tries to make sense of Democrat support for controversial Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner.
The Plattner pandemonium is the latest in a long line of reminders that you should not be losing friends or family members over politics because none of the people dividing us believe what they say. Donald Trump has a daughter who converted to Judaism, which might be the least Hitler thing I've ever heard. But the Democrats still call him a Nazi to this day. Graham Plattner shows up with an actual death cam tattoo. The Democrats call him a guy who relates to the working class. My question for them is, what kind of jobs did they have? Because any co-workers I've ever worked with would never bond with a creep like Plattner, which is why Democrats should enjoy this while it lasts, because come election night, they are gonna get tattooed.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL, JC's Sunday Showgram.
It was 19 years ago this week. We were all stunned by the final episode of The Sopranos. We'll look back with Journey's Neil Sean. We lost Tim Russert this week in 2008, so we'll pull some of his stuff out of the archives, and it's back to 1990 for Speed Golf at Tower T with Mike Bush, Doug Vaughn, and Jay Randolph. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com. News Talk STL is turning 5, and you're invited to the party. Join us Friday night, June 26th at Frankie Martin's Garden in Cottleville for a totally rad celebration with the Retro Nerds, St. Louis's favorite 80s tribute band. Live on the outside stage from 7 to 10. It's an all-ages show, so bring the whole family and stop by and see us at the News Talk STL Pavilion right near the stage. Frankie Martin's Garden, the place for and about community in Cottleville. Details at frankiemartinsgarden.com.
At Body of Health, we're a small but mighty family operation with big ambitions for your health. I'm Helene Tobler, and I'm jazzed about how our MRI-grade body composition analyzer is putting personalized health and wellness on steroids. It helps me and Dr. Tobler, that's my husband, refine the advice we give to help you feel better and live longer. Body of Health, trusted, discerning, affordable health care the way it ought to be. Learn more at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
1 in 4 women will have an abortion before the age of 45 in this country. That's the tragedy we must work to stop. Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show here, and that is why Reach Reproductive Health is here, to empower parents to save the lives of innocent children and to see these families come to Christ. And you can be a part of saving and changing lives. So pray and visit outreachforlife.org to learn more, volunteer, and donate. That's outreachforlife.org.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
I listen to News Talk STL on the app driving to work.
Download the News Talk STL app.
You got to get the News Talk STL app.
Love the app. Can listen anywhere in St. Louis.
And listen anytime.
News Talk STL right on my phone.
Anywhere. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where will it be?
It's Flashback Friday.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Corey Hart, the singer on this one.
Very good.
This is one of those, okay, so this is a total guilty pleasure song. Absolutely. It's funny because, like, if you just read the lyrics, you're like, this makes no sense at all. But that was not a requirement back in the 80s. It's not a requirement now.
I'm going to be honest with you. Watching the video doesn't make very much sense.
Oh, no.
Doesn't add a lot of
no,
context
no,
to what
no,
the song's about.
No, not in the least bit. No, but this was a big one. Okay, so 8:36 right now. As you've been inculcated with 80s culture since joining the show, do you have any like guilty pleasure songs that jump out? You're like, I really love that, but man, that's not my brand. That's not usually my style. But I just like that song because I've got like 3 or 4 of them that I'm just like guilty pleasure songs. I will crank up and people will be like, you really? That's your yeah.
I need you to tell me yours first.
Okay, I can list like 3 right off the bat. One would be Lionel Richie's "Dancing on the Ceiling." For some reason, I just love that song. I don't know why. I just love that song. There's another one by Eric Carmen that's called "Make Me Lose Control," and because there's an a cappella vocal part in there that I absolutely love. So that one, and I would say another one would be like "Kool and the Gang's Celebration," and I think that was like super early '80s.
Is Celebration, would that be a guilty pleasure? I thought that was just a good staple song.
That's just but that one, almost anything with Kool and the Gang, actually, I really like. If I had to pick another one,
like an actual guilty, like this is a song where you deep down you enjoy it, but it's one of those like I don't want other people to know.
Yeah, see, "Dancing on the Ceiling" with Lionel Richie would probably
Okay.
that's the one I'm fessing up to right now. And it is as corny as it gets, the song and the video, but for some reason I love that song.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Cyndi Lauper.
That
Yeah.
I would say if I immediately comes to mind is one of those where I will sing along to it when I'm driving around, but I'm gonna have my sunglasses on, my hood up. I'm making sure nobody sees that it's me singing it. But
That's right.
That song it definitely would be top of the list.
Anybody else fess up on like social media as to which guilty pleasure songs they'll admit to?
No, these people are just complaining.
So it's just me.
It's just us. It's us outing ourselves for no benefit to us.
Oh, really? So they didn't like some of the songs?
No, some people appreciated them.
Yeah.
And again, these are the guilty pleasure songs. So
Right.
I'm sure that there are people that will just not admit that they
Yeah,
like
see,
it
that's
more.
the thing. I think it's like, it's like the preacher stepping on your toes. You just exposed me for liking that song, and I'm gonna not admit it.
Yes, but 101 straight up, our notorious 80s music hater. He was very critical and was talking about how he was glad he missed out on this decade of music. I don't know. Love Shack by the B-52s is another one of my guilty.
Yeah.
'Cause the intro, when the guy starts singing about his car being as big as a whale, and then you need your jukebox money because how big I mean, that just gets to me. But I don't know. How do you hate? I was never like going out of my way to listen to 80s music before Flashback Friday. But how do you actively hate 80s music?
I don't know.
The 60s psychedelic rock, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff, I can leave that behind. A lot of the early 2000s pop music, definitely I can just skip that right on the radio.
Totally,
but
yeah.
I don't think we need any Flashback Fridays where I was sitting there saying, this is a horrible, terrible song.
There's some weird songs out there.
Oh, absolutely. That'll be another theme soon.
Weird ones? There you go.
We've done it before, but I want to
Yeah.
hear them again.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with that. All right, 8:40 right now. Over the last week, I'm looking at a lot of the things that I think are not even so much getting people fired up, but people having so many mixed emotions on. And law enforcement is talking about it, and like advocacy groups is these whole basically teen takeovers that are happening, and it's affecting St. Louis. Matter of fact, I mean, earlier this week I ended up with a press release that was put into my mailbox here from the Shrewsbury Police Department, and this was actually, this was earlier this week. That last Sunday, of course, there was the big thing at the Sky Zone, or just outside the Sky Zone. And this is where the Sky Zone was having a big promotional event, and it was going to be really popular, and hundreds of kids showed up, and Sky Zone let in what they're allowed to have in, numbers-wise, and then things went crazy out in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so a whole lot of people were saying, were there any problems in Sky Zone? It doesn't look like there was too much of a problem inside Sky Zone. They were managing their thing, but they said, why wasn't anybody watching what was happening in the parking lot? And Sky Zone says, hey, we're responsible for what's in here. We didn't let too many people in. We did our job. Other people saying you promoted this and had hundreds of kids show up knowing what's going to happen. But I'm asking people to focus on that part. Knowing what's going to happen. What do you mean knowing what's going to happen? Kids get together and suddenly there's going to be all kinds of violence and problems. Well, unfortunately, that's kind of what we're looking at. We saw it with Six Flags earlier this year. They had to, kind of clamp down on it. And so police were called out to Shrewsbury because there was all kinds of stuff going crazy in the parking lot. And that's spurring on it. We have this discussion every summer, it seems like, because we're 1 week away from the official start of summer. And what's happening is young people connect and network better than at any time in history. They can do it in real time. But they're going to places where they know there's going to be trouble. That's the entertainment. That's the amusement for a lot of these kids is getting in there. So I'm sounding like get off my lawn here. But what's happening is that the chaos is the entertainment for a lot of people of a certain age, of a really young age. And so you look at, like, for instance, Lee Summit, Missouri, which is in Jackson County on the other side of the state. I happen to see they've had this Lee Summit Days, big, downtown festival and stuff. They've had it for 40 some years. It's become really a staple. I've been to it when I lived in that area. And after they had this happen there, they've canceled it. They're not doing it anymore. They said too much liability, too much risk, too much safety problems. Nobody wants to control the young people. And you can say, okay, you need a big police presence. Yes, that's one thing. But the obvious answer, which is clearly pointed out by a lot of people, is how about you parent your kids and teach them not to be miscreants?
Exactly.
And then other people are like, well, that's just not realistic anymore. And that's literally how a lot of people think. I mean, look at the Carmelo Anthony thing. How many people saw that one woman angry about Carmelo Anthony being convicted for stabbing another human being in the heart? And she's on the news and she's screaming and yelling. She's like, I don't know what to do anymore. I've got 5 sons. What do I tell them? And of course, everybody goes to the hot take and they cut to it and go, tell them not to stab people. But we've got this mindset that says, there are no consequences. There should be no self-regulation. There's certainly no fear of wait till dad gets home. There's no fear of I'm going to call your parents. None of that happens anymore, and we're having the natural consequences for it, and we're seeing it over and over and over and over and over again. And this isn't the kids these days things. We're seeing a generational pattern. It is a small number of the kids that's reflecting horribly on the rest of them, but it's enough of them to where people are changing their plans and their purchasing behaviors and their travel plans because we're just assuming that this is going to happen.
Yeah, there's a weird epidemic of youths who are given the freedoms of being an adult without ever learning how to handle the responsibilities of being an adult. And I think part of it, too, comes down to the court system. I mean, I've watched a lot of body cam footage from police just so I can get a better idea of what's going on. And the amount of times that you will see somebody that is a juvenile that will rack up a number, battery on law enforcement, trespassing, vandalism, whatever. They get to the court, and the courts will just start dropping charges willy-nilly, right. And then they realize, so I'm not going to be held accountable either at home or by the judicial system. It's like, well, what else are we supposed to do? Because, unless we're going to be the ones that have to, punish them ourselves.
And the city of St. Louis said, you know what? We're going to start charging parents.
Good.
We have not heard hardly a peep about this sort of thing in the last, 3 weeks since the city said, we're going to start hauling the parents into court. And all of a sudden, we don't have as many problems. Now, I think we're going to still see some here and there. But once they decided to crack down, things changed in a hurry, quicker than I thought that they would.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want government to be the parent. I don't want police to be the parents. I don't want the courts to be the parents. But from a public safety perspective, that's what these things are for. And to protect us from dangers and respond to it, people are not given them any choice but to become that.
I'm just saying, give me diplomatic immunity and give me a wet pool noodle, and I'll have this sorted out by lunchtime. But if you enjoy these conversations and you've got places to be, we understand you can't always be by your physical radio or your car radio, but you always probably will most likely have your phone on you, and therefore your phone can be your radio if you have the free NewsTalk STL app. So download the NewsTalk STL app, put us on there, bring us with you.
You know what else can be your radio? Your smart TV.
Oh, yeah.
You can listen to us there, too.
Especially with Flashback Friday, because
Yeah.
I try to put the music videos into the stream, so you can actually pull up our Rumble, or X,
or
however-
YouTube, or
YouTube or Facebook, and put it on your smart TV, and you can watch us on your TV.
Yep.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can forget my name while you collect your claim.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Always be yourself, unless you suck.
On Newstalk STL.
I can see the light that's right before my eyes.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colony.
Sweet. I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Wait, oh, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888 to learn more about our special $67 offer.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Summer is here at Daniel's Farm and Greenhouses on Juggerman in St. Peters. Discover our breathtaking 55,000 square feet of greenhouses featuring 8,000 hanging baskets, hundreds of perennials, and 100,000 pots of colorful annuals. From vegetable plants to premium grass seed, mulch to herbs, our knowledgeable staff is ready to answer all your questions. Start spring off right with pansies, potted tulips, and everything your garden craves. Daniel's Farm and Greenhouses. Visit us today on Juggerman or online at danielsfarmandgreenhouses.com.
I get up, and nothing gets me down.
Hi, it's Vic Porcelli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Vic.
Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning people.
One of the best ever. Everything about this song is like perfect 80s rock.
Oh, yeah. This is like the quintessential. If I think
Yes.
of rock in the 80s, it's this.
This and the short second from Van Halen would be Panama.
Panama,
For a lot of the same reasons.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you though, my favorite Van Halen song actually comes from the Sammy Hagar era, and maybe it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure because it's not their hardest upbeat song, but it's Dreams. Yeah, by Van Halen, which has a cool story to it because they actually sort of donated the use of that song to the U.S. Navy, and they created the entire video. The official video was the Blue Angels. It was all footage from the Blue Angels.
Oh.
And it's pretty cool.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Sammy Hagar, of course, going to be in town tomorrow. I'm going to be at that show. Probably going to get drenched because I think it's going to storm on us. but I'm going to be at the Sammy Hagar show out at Riverport or whatever it's called now. It's Riverport. So that's Sammy Hagar going to be in town tomorrow. A lot of great 80s music there. It's going to be a fun show. All right. Should we do one more news dump? What do you think? Should we do it? I say we do it. Let's do a news dump here. Let's just roll right into it.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by American Divers.
What happened? What'd you do, Mike?
Did Soros the Gremlin do something again?
Bella, what did you do?
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news. The Morning News Dump.
All right. Rescue crews were called to Six Flags when a ride malfunctioned, stranding 4 people 120 feet in the air. Oh, wow. The Sky Screamer ride broke down around 5:30 yesterday afternoon with 2 adults and 2 teenagers on it. It was a family. That's 4 people in the family. They finally got back on the ground almost 3 hours later. Nobody was hurt. That's the good news. They had to call in a couple of different fire departments to get the cranes up there because whatever it is the Six Flag has for such an occasion just wasn't working. So they had to call in the fire departments there. So nobody hurt. That's the good news. The bad news is that somebody spent almost 3 hours dangling 120 feet in the air at Six Flags. That had to, oh my goodness, that had to be scary.
And you just know one of them was sitting there like, I told you we should have not gone on this one. I told you I didn't want to come on this.
Oh, man. All right. So obviously that ride's going to be shut down for a while. They're going to have to do a complete inspection and see what went wrong and all that kind of stuff. But everything else is open to Six Flags, and they haven't had any incidents there. But, oh my goodness, the video and the pictures are out there, and you're kind of looking at that going, oh, crap. That would be pretty scary or pretty boring, or you're scared while you're bored because you're just sitting up there, basically in a giant baby swing set seat.
I mean, I imagine the view would be nice, but you can only play I Spy so many times before it's stale, right?
I Spy Eureka. Oh, there it is. Oh, geez. All right. Traffic note. Keep this in mind in St. Charles County. A part of Route 94 is going to be closed starting at 7 p.m. tonight. Okay, so lanes are going to be closed on Route 94 between the westbound 370 exit ramp and the eastbound 370 ramp. So that part of 94 shut down completely. Now, that is to allow work on the Discovery Bridge. If you're on Route 370 itself, though, you're in good shape. That's going to remain completely open. And by the way, the exact same closure is going to happen next weekend as well, to allow for some more work on that particular bridge. I mean, you just got to do it. Got to maintain the bridge.
And it's probably better to get it out of the way this early in the summer and not wait till everybody's
totally
rushing around and the weather gets even worse.
Yep. All right. President Trump announcing on Thursday that he's canceled plans to carry out further attacks against Iran. He was on a phone call that was actually endorsing Georgia Republican candidate Burt Jones, but he worked in that he says a peace deal is now agreed to and complete, if not signed.
We ended the war with Iran today, and they have agreed never to have a nuclear weapon, something that we insisted on. That was the whole purpose. That was 95% of it, and they've done it in the most powerful way you can do it.
Okay, so I'm just saying we've heard this before, and I think it's interesting. The president announces that the war has ended, and they're going to sign the documents this weekend, and basically most people are like, oh yeah, right, that thing.
Yeah, you don't see a whole lot of cheering in the streets and online praise. It's kind of like just like we were told for however long now.
Yeah, it's been. Well, I mean, we just say at some point it's going to be correct. It's going to be accurate. But yeah, it's. I'm monitoring a bunch of the national TV news. I haven't seen anything on this morning at all. So that's how seriously a lot of people are taking it. They're just not. Okay, let's see it. If it's a done deal and signed, okay, but then we know Iran's going to break it anyway, and then we're going to retaliate, and the paper's not worth, the ink's not worth the paper it was written on. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully this ends it, because I'm not even convinced we need to be there at this point. But if we're going to end it, let's end it. That's great. I want to see it ended. Okay, you know what? Your kiddo may love that go-kart, but in O'Fallon, Missouri, they got to keep it in the driveway. Keep it on your private property.
Killjoys.
I'm saying. So the word from the O'Fallon City Council on Thursday is a new ordinance, and this ordinance bans mini bikes, go-karts, motorized scooters, powered skateboards from all city streets, from all city parks, and also from sidewalks. E-bikes not affected by the new rules. City officials say they're focusing on educating people about the new rules at first instead of writing the tickets anyway. But, it's a thing where I get it. because especially some of these little go-karts, and I loved go-karts when I was a kid. Now, we were usually out in some field going crazy. We didn't go on the roads or anything like that. But, in the suburbs and the cul-de-sacs, in the parks, kids love to get out there. It's fun, this innocent fun. But what they're saying is at some point, some kids are going to run right out in front of a car and the car's not going to see them because you're 3 feet off the ground at most when you're in the go-kart. You can't see them, or the scooter, or whatever the case is.
How long until we end up seeing the world's slowest police chase from someone
That's
who's
right.
trying to flee?
A
out
little
and go,
Barbie car with a 3-year-old girl in it. Zzz. I caught her. No, the battery ran out. License and registration, please.
Trying to call her lawyer on a little Elmo phone.
That's right. Yeah. Geez. All right. This is interesting. Those cheap sunglasses could be actually doing some harm to your eyes.
Oh.
Some eye doctors are warning that sunglasses without full UV protection could actually be harmful. Here's why. They said in a recent article that your pupils are open wider behind those dark lenses because it is blocking the light, but that the UV rays are still getting in and penetrating your eyes, and over time that could do some damage. They suggest looking for sunglasses listed as UV 400 or sunglasses that offer 100% UV protection. All right. Cardinals lost last night, but they did win the series against the Mets. So moving on to Minnesota. Minnesota tonight. First pitch is at 7:10. This game's going to be on Channel 4, so this one's going to be available over the air. Have a great weekend, everybody.
When insurance companies know you're represented by under law, they know